the ocean waves and try to come to life. Don't let go of the bright blue sky because the future's looking far too light. I am ready for a long dive, ship to set sail and carry me through the starry night. Dream of me whenever you are feeling oh so lonely. Try to leave your fears behind. We are locked in an orbit racing round the dots of moonlit worlds that make a light. Keep your eyes on mine. Touchdown on the surface of my heart. The feeling's ever gone. A brave adventurer like me. Members everywhere that I've come from. Keep your feet to the vacuum sky, cause it's surrounding us out here. Follow the trail of the stardust of the ones that came before us, and we'll see what we've always been. Dream of me whenever you are feeling oh so lonely. Try to leave your fears behind. We are locked in an orbit racing round.
And with that, welcome everybody here to the live stream on twitch.tv/connecting esports, as well as on Mixer and YouTube Gaming. We will be having an exciting stream coming up your way. It's nothing else but, of course, Season 5 TG Diamond League, the group stage. And today I'm joined by Jedlam and, of course, Sherlock.
Buenos dias. So the state of play at the moment is this is a Group B game. Timely Grace in there, 6 matches played, 10 points. Cervus have played the lowest amount of matches in this group, so they've got a couple coming up. They're on 8 points. So if they manage to win this game, they go into that top bracket, which is literally 4 teams who'll all be on that 10 points. The group leaderboard here says Dutch Community Team are top, 7 MP, 10 points. But Timely Grace haven't played the lesser matches. I'd actually maybe classify them as the leaders here by, maybe a nose. But I mean, that's what we're here to determine tonight.
Yeah, as you have mentioned before, right, Cervus Esports, for them, it's about catching up with the big groups. It's about making their way to the playoffs, whereas for Timely Grace, it's more about, widening the gap between them and the lower classes teams. And the thing is that the bar is set pretty high tonight, as Timely Grace, they are a team that is formed from some of the players that a lot of you might already know of, as TJ Flatline, Snades, and Innosus, for example, who won the last split of the TJ Diamond. So these players, they are not here kind of discovering the league. They are already well established, already all confirmed players, and what they are going to be bringing us in these next few games is to be reckoned with. So we are going to be having one hell of a match tonight to decide some of the landscape of this Group B at the end of the group stage.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I mean, if you look at that group as well, if you look through the previous games, I mean, Timely Grace were 2-0'd by ELG, and then Cervus a week or so later, then 2-0'd ELG. So, there's a lot of give and take in this kind of top bracket. And I mean, if Cervus lose today, then they'll be on 6 games and 8 points, same as Arc, just behind them. So, I mean, this group is incredibly tight up there at the top. It's going to be really, really cool to see, in the next few days, who's going to be able to break through and make it into the playoffs. And we go into the Pentagon.
Yeah, the bands are already fusing through, as the team seems really decided on what they want to get to take off the board.
I did tell them in game chat that they've got to take a shot for every 15 seconds they take to make a pick.
trying to not get too wasted before the second game starts, huh? And well, so we do see a lot of top lane focus picks on the side of Cervus because Innocence, one of the key carry players of Timely Grace, is a very clutch player who often likes to handle some of the picks like Camille, Fiora. He also likes to handle some of the Kled, the Akali, for example. So the kind of picks where you can really shine on and try to crush his opponent in lanes. So servers are definitely picking the safest options as possible and trying to get themselves an on without really a very confident counter into his lane. Now
And I mean,
locking in,
having a look at Innocence's OP.GG now, I'm seeing a lot of that Akali, and I'm also seeing that he's in promos to Masters. So just a quick shout out and good luck there, I suppose. Take it away. Bye anyway.
Yeah. So right now we are seeing also some of the bans already oriented towards that bottom lane, and also some of the picks. Bot lane being locked in already by Timely Grace, and now the Senna is definitely locked in this time around by Cervus in red 3 position. The thing is that these bot laners are playing a very standard game, a very standard type of champion pool where you have these champions, these powerhouses like the Aphelios, the Senna, and the Ezreal. So taking the Ashe, for example, out of the board is pivotal to getting access to the full offensive potential of this Aphelios, for example, or for Cervus. Getting rid of the Ezreal means you're pretty sure that this Senna is not going to get outmatched in range, considering the Aphelios is already locked in. So these bot lane picks are very pivotal for both of these teams as they want their bottom laners to be in their comfort zone to be able to really shine throughout the early and mid game. Now, second ban phase going on. And we do see the Set getting benched off the board. Set Senna being a very powerful bot lane duo that Cervus has been willing to pick up before.
It is very cheeky indeed, and that would be one that I would be hands down willing to throw straight into my bans to kind of avoid coming up against that one. It can be so problematic.
Now the Akali you've mentioned before gets banned away as well. So Timely Grace, they will now be left with another pickup to match this on in that top lane. I would figure around that something quite AP might be joining that top lane. Something like maybe the Silas that is still left open. Could be a possibility here. Now, we did see a lot of...
They've gone past 15 seconds.
Yeah. So I was trying to think about the best pick in this position to counter this already very safe first rotation on the side of Time and Grace. With the Braum, Graves, you already have a lot of agency against AD heavy compositions. So picking up the brand is definitely going to do you a big save in those team fights. And now, we missed out on this pick, but this is the TJ Flatline Orianna, his signature pick that went through the bans. The Syndra didn't make it through, but there is the Orianna, that beloved pick that he loves to handle. And now, I would guess that you can go for some kind of delivery service. There you go, the Silas in the top lane against the Ornn. Kind of like predicted that one here, but yeah, the Orianna is going to be the main key pick that you will want to watch. This guy on this champion, it's just, a natural pair.
We've seen it before, yeah. We've seen it before in previous splits. I mean, he's still playing, well, I mean, if you look at his match history, he's still, his main. 76 games in rank this season on the Ori and a 66% win rate over those games, which is, it's
pretty bonkers.
Impressive. And I mean, I'm looking at this 4.74 KDA again, very cheeky.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot praise this pick enough, right? Flatline is absolutely amazing at Orianna. Now, what you have to mention though is that
Soraka.
Yeah, I'm going to tackle that later on during the spectator delay. So For now, what you have to take into account, though, is that Cervus Esports, they have picked a composition that is pretty much very front-to-back team fighting. They want to
Yeah, I can see that.
they want to have their front line and their back line properly set up for the team fights. They want to play it very front to back, really. There's not any other way to put it. Even the Kha'Zix is going to be fitting right in, having either the flank possibility if he gets fed enough in the early game, or the more team
I'm
fight
not sure
oriented
they have enough in
Kha'Zix.
the way of front line though against this Timely Grace comp, because I mean, if they can get the access and pick off that Soraka early to get rid of the healing,
Yeah.
you know, if they can just find a way to get around the Ornn, then they're gonna have problems.
Yeah. The main problem now is going to be for Timely Grace to, as you said, right, find a way to the back line. And the thing is that usually Timely Grace, they would go for something that guarantees a delivery, a ball delivery service, right? Something like a Jarvan jungle, for example, a Camille top lane. Now these options have been gotten rid of in the first couple of pick and bans, so Orianna is now pretty much left alone in terms of shockwave placement. Sure, you do have the Silas that to some extent can dive into the backline, but it's not that reliable. And as you mentioned, right, for the Silas to get through, he has to get past an Ornn, he has to get past a Kha'Zix that will most likely evolve his spikes, so he will be bringing up a lot of control in teamfights, and as such, you really might struggle to find backline access here. So the Aphelios on the side of Timely Grace getting fed enough to be able to deal with the front line of Cervus is going to be pivotal for the health of their team fighting. Now, that being said, we still have the laning phase going on. And the thing is that a lot of things can go wide. Flatline on his signature pick, he can kind of crush the enemy's he can kind of crush the enemy mid laner. Cervus Esports, their top laner. That guy, Reborn Destiny, he's quite good at his at what he does, honestly. And the thing is that on the Ornn, it's not only an easy pick to pilot, but also a very good pick to cross your lane. Even though Silas does have some amount of resistance of sustain built in his kit, Ornn still has the advantage in the very early game. So there are a lot of things that can go wrong for both teams and that you will have to monitor throughout the early game, because both of these teams, they really want to get the variance out of the game. At least on the side of Cervus. Timely Grace, they do want to get maybe an advantage somewhere and try to funnel into it. But on the side of Cervus, they really want to just slow down the game, control it, and then play it out their style.
Yeah, I mean, very much. I'm just having a quick look back through the screenshots, because I'm sure we've seen
Some of
played
the
into the
picks
Ornn.
before.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look because I remember seeing Cervus and seeing an Ornn pick. That was when they 2-0'd ELG. They actually they had Stinner. Yeah, they had Stinner on the Ornn. Yeah, in that game, and that was just a very controlled lane display actually against Malphite in the top lane. That was a great carry on the Nico in that game. I say that. I mean, Eladin goes 12-6 on the Lee Sin. Yeah, I mean, that was just an incredible execution of comp. So, yeah, I mean, this is very much about lane control. I am expecting Flatline to be incredibly dangerous on that Orianna. They'll be doing a fantastic job if they manage to keep Flatline quiet.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing a Senna, a straight up AD carry Senna, unless they're going to be fasting and sticking those
some of the gold on the Soraka,
onto the Soraka, which isn't unheard of. We're only a couple of patches away from Soraka top being viable, so I'm not sure how Vipix's gameplay is with a little bit more gold in his pocket as a Soraka. But we may be about to find out.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we kind of go more in depth in our analysis to answer that question, I would like to remind our dear viewers that the bets are open in the chat. So You see, while you are watching the connecting, you gain some points passively, and now you can bet those points on whichever team you think will win this game. So, in order to bet effectively, you type !bet, then the side, so red or blue, that you think will win, and then the amount that you want. Bets are up to an amount of 10,000, and you will get a reward, in points, for picking up the right team. Now, the bets are going to be closed right as we enter into the game, but you still have 1.5 minutes to place your coins. Who do you bet on, Jedlam?
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm kind of favouring Timely Grace because I do kind of rate Flatline's ability to be able to find that access onto, you know, the Soraka. But I mean, the brand has that CC as well, so kind of a little up in the air. I'm kind of leaning a bit more towards Timely Grace in this first game. I think they have what it takes to close this one out.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's by no means to say that Cervus, you know, won't be able to, you know, the Own won't be able to pick up something against this Silas. The Kazakhs, you know, won't be able to squash this bot lane a little bit. I mean, the Braum will negate a lot of the kind of damage going into that bot lane. Obviously, the Senna and the Soraka. Senna Soraka is probably the highest sustaining bot lane in the game at the moment. I mean, so I'm not expecting that one to be a hugely dramatic lane unless anyone makes a big inty play. However, you know, it's TJ.
Yeah, it's gonna be really difficult for Timely Grace to find an opening on that bottom lane. Now, what you really want to look for though is that brand in the mid lane. As you mentioned, right? You are confident in TJ Flightline. You put all of your thrust into him whenever he's on that champion, and because you do, you expect Snace to be hanging around that mid lane all the time, so that the moment that Grape oversteps, the moment that Grape makes a rotation and walks over a ward, he gets picked up almost instantly. And the thing is that the jungler from Cervus Esports, Elodin, he will have a very tough time to work with that brand, as it's a pick that doesn't have a very reliable gank setup, doesn't have a lot of wave clear early on and in the game, especially into an Orianna. So you're going to have a rather relatively weak 2v2 in the early game compared to the likes of Graves Orianna, who are much more reliable. So you're going to have to play very cleverly in terms of wave control, wave management, and pathing on the side of Elodin to be able to secure a lead in the early game.
Yeah, no, very much so. And yeah, we are indeed loading in. I've got my,
and I will point you towards our Twitch panels down below to check out our casters' social media, meaning Twitter or Twitch or whatever they have linked to the account. It's down below in the panel named caster. Just click on that little image. It'll bring you to the website with all the links from our lovely casters. Just a reminder, it is Sherlock on the mic with, of course, Jedlam. And as we load into the game, we wish both our teams best of luck and all of you guys enjoy the show.
Let's go.
Now, you are watching, guys, Timely Grace facing off Cervus Esports. Timely Grace being on the left side of your screen, Cervus on the right side. And we are about to enter the game, as I'm still waiting on my side for the champions to spawn. And we get a quick look at the runes and keystones here. And you can notice the brand did decide to go for Dark Harvest. So
yeah, I am having a look at that.
Yeah, this can seem unusual, as Dark Harvest is widely regarded as very, shall I say, ineffective as a laning rune. But on Brand, it's a whole different thing, because his passive does proc the Dark Harvest, so it's actually a pretty reliable way to proc it. And then you have so much potential to chain kill in teamfights with that rune because of the way your ultimate and passive works. So you can actually try to land down your burst, get an initial kill with the Dark Harvest, and then with the passive still burning onto someone else, get a second proc in the same team fight, and a third, etc. So it's actually a very go-to rune, especially when you're talking brand AP carry.
I'm
And now
noticing
what
that Flatline has gone
Yeah.
TP into the Ignite of Brand as well. Brand just adding the extra burn to the firepower there. And it's quite a, quite a boring start, really. We've got like kind of 5-on-5. We've got the 3 members
Oh
of
yeah,
Timely
remember
Grace
invade
here,
division.
who will be spotted out on that ward going into the red side jungle of Cervus.
They are going to be looking to take that red buff for themselves, as maybe Elodin is going to be responding with a vertical jungling, so we're going to have to watch closely at that Kha'Zix if he decides to transition to that bot side of the map. And it looks like he does, actually. So we are going to be seeing some vertical jungling, which is going to shape a bit that bot lane matchup here, as you've said before, right? Soraka and Senna are one of the safest bot lanes in the game, and you really wanted to have that jungler on your side to help you get some kills if you are to get that Aphelios fed. But now with vertical jungling installed in that game, it's going to be totally impossible. And because of that, Snaze is going to be really looking at that brand, at that Ornn in the early game, and try to steamroll on Cervus Esports through their solo lanes.
And I'm just looking Grape is really, really looking to hard bully Flatline really early on in that mid lane there. And Reborn Destiny taking a whole bunch of damage in that top lane early as well. That was the second thing I was going to touch on. Innocence repaying in kind, albeit in a different lane.
And right now you can see the Graves is actually lining up in that top lane.
We have a top
hyping issue
from from Timely Grace, and ironically, the Silas in the top lane is actually doing, the best for all of them. However, if we look at our mini map right now, there's the Graves directly behind that tower. So if the Silas did decide to step up, a level 3 gank could be really high risk but really high rewards, because you just completely negate the potential of that Ornn, who's you would usually expect to be trading a little bit better.
I do not think that the dive is possible here, because especially considering that sure, Silas does have all of his spells available, but Ornn is still pretty healthy, like rather healthy. And the thing is that these dives are super risky to pull off with the Graves, because you can always jerk around the tower and deny him any auto attacks in the play. And Ornn also still has
seconds
his
ago in the game, the Ornn is, the Ornn's regenerated quite a lot of HP. He went down to 200 or 300 HP there. So, but the Graves is still. I think he's just going to go for that top side scuttle. Oh, and the Kha'Zix there is spotted out by the Braum and nearly gets slowed.
Yeah, now the Kha'Zix is going to get spotted out, so Snake knows perfectly which camps are still available to him in terms of camps right here, because he knows that this Kha'Zix did only 3 camps before backing off from his jungle, so he does know that his Raptors are yet still available. Now, Kha'Zix lining up near his mid laner in that bottom side river, but it's far too pushed, so he will not be able to find any opportunity here. We'll go back to his jungle now.
Very much so, and it is quite a linear path from both the junglers. They're not really, they've not face checked each other. They're both clearing out each other's jungle in their opposite quadrants of the rift at the moment.
Now, because of the way that Kha'Zix has clear right now, it means that he's going to be getting slightly outpathed as the game will be going further. Since, Graves is a very proficient and good jungler at power farming whenever it comes to really just staying in your jungle, clearing the camps, and funneling as much gold into your pockets. Kha'Zix not so much. He still needs a lot of AD. He still needs, for example, his evolved Q to really be able to match the clear speed of the
Graves has been spotted out there, by the way. The Kha'Zix just pretty much straight pinging on him there. And I will also note, 5 seconds time, we do have that first Drake of the game, which will be an Infernal.
Oh, now Kha'Zix finds his Raptor camp missing. Will spot out the Graves, though.
Oh,
now
this might be our first fight of the game. The Ornn and the
2v2.
Kha'Zix could try and sandwich this Grave there. They're just about going to miss him. Because they weren't quite sure where the Silas was. They couldn't spot him out. They didn't have any vision there. So didn't want to overcommit. But yeah, I mean, that Graves could have been in a little bit of trouble there. And the Braum is just jumping straight forward in this bot lane. And we got a super big fight there. We got the exhaust coming out onto Elusive. And Vipix just trying to stay as much on that bot line as possible. And it's a reasonable trade. But I mean, like I say, you look back there after the Senna heal. And they're both going to be back on full HP in a matter of, 30 seconds or something. Yeah. Which is why this Braum is, really, really trying his best to kind of walk forward in hard CC. Yeah. But they're coming off worse in that trade, not because they didn't do more damage, but because of the ridiculous sustain. And out comes the Horn. Oh no, it's from the Silas. I do apologize, and Reborn Destiny going incredibly low. I did not see Innocence getting his 6 up there.
Yeah, Innocence is really doing a great job at maintaining an XP lead over his opponent, and thus just is keeping the control over the lane for the whole duration of that early game right now. And because of that, the Ornn just had to blow off his first CP to get back on his lane, because he's getting so much pressure from the early vertical jungling, and also the Silence being very good and tricky in this matchup. Yeah. Also, if you take a quick look at these runes, you do notice that for additional sustain, the Silence did decide to go for Flick Footwork instead of the more standard Conqueror. So he is very healthy.
Oh, and Eladin getting spotted out there.
Yeah.
But he manages to jump away. And what I will also say is that first Infernal Drake going straight over to Cervus Esports, and that is a direct consequence of just being able to have that ridiculous. Oh, and great! Will he get away from it? This must be the first kill of the game, and yes, it is. And that goes over to the Graves. So that is the Graves there with a fat kill. Yeah. However, like I was saying, that first Infernal going over to Cervus Esports is a direct consequence of the Aphelios and Braum, essentially being much lower than the Senna and Soraka because of that insane amount of sustain in that lane. They could just walk up and pick up that Drake without fear of retribution, or being especially hard challenged for it.
Yeah, and not only that, but also in the general rune choices, you do see the Soraka and the Senna going for full sustain in their runes. So definitely, there is definitely no option to be seized on the side of Timely Grace in this bottom side of the map. So obviously this bot side is now that of Cervus. So first rate going onto them, but you do see the Graves hanging around the Herald pit, trying to get his hands onto the little Shelly. As now we do see a very early swap here coming from Timely Grace to try and get the best pressure as possible on that top side of the map. Very clever from them to secure that objective. The room is matched by Vipix on his Soraka, but I do not think he will be able to do anything to prevent that outcome. Now, Graves will be the one getting that Rift Herald, and they will just go back to pressuring that Ornn, actually. And you can see also the bot lane.
Braum wandering very, very far away from his own lane. And they just seem determined to bully this Ornn up in that top lane. But I mean, look at the CS difference. The Silas was 73 and the Ornn with 48 so far. He's just been chunked out and chunked out and chunked out and never gets snades. And they look like they're going to try and set up a dive here. However, there is the Soraka just to heal up that Ornn a little bit and say, nah, not today. Go home, not today, you slags.
And the very real thing to me now is that the Senna hasn't matched the rotation yet, so Soraka is just here for to make sure that this Ornn is not going to be falling down from being 1v2, but the Senna is actually perfectly fine sitting on the side lane on her own. And now that is the thing that you have to pay attention to, because that Senna, sure, in a 1v1 potential, she can control the aggressive options of Innocence, for example, with the Glacial Augment. But as soon as Snades starts to pay some attention to his now alone in a 1v1 top laner on the side lane, things are gonna be getting a lot messier for that Senna on the bottom lane. So you have to watch out now. TJ Flatline going, doing the old switcheroo again to make sure that for the next upcoming Ocean Drake, they do have their bot lane on the right side of the map.
Correct. I mean, the Drake, I mean, I'd imagine again they'd have a strong shot at being able to secure the car's in the right place, and they're going to look to set up a gank here on this bot lane.
Yeah,
and they have not yet spotted out that Karzik.
There's a very clever ward though, sitting right outside that brush.
Oh, and that's a tasty stun onto the Senna, but Soraka will simply come and heal her up, and then land that Q to negate any damage done by the Aphelios in that trade.
Now is the turn of the Graves to come and sit in that brush a little bit.
I gotta say, this Braum is actually doing incredibly well, chucking in those Qs though.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job, and also, you know, whenever you try to show yourself a bit more aggressiveness playing as a Braum, you often tend to fall very low on mana, but we do see Shio staying very healthy in that department, so really props to him to find the right balance between the poke and
the shield, yeah.
And the shielding, yeah. Now, look at the minimap though, in the river, you see Bran and Kha'Zix falling
and here
around.
comes Snade, and Tagoda will walk away as that Senna. And here comes Eladin in from the side, and suddenly it's a 4v3. The Ornn Horn coming out there, and that gets hit on to Shio on that Braum, who will surely not be able to walk away from this, and that is a kill onto... Oh, great. And there down goes Eladin, and there's a flash forward there from Innocence, trying to get the Vipix, and that's not going to happen. However, they will manage to kill. Oh, wait. That is a fantastic E from that Soraka. That is a fantastic E to just completely negate the Silas, who would have surely just nudged her out into a death timer there. And that is the second Drake of the game, which will be going to Timely Grace, which will set us up for which Drake? That will set us up for a Mountain Soul.
And I think that this time around, in this very fight, the first big fight of that game, everyone witnessed it. We hyped up the man for a reason. Flatline completely turned that fight around with his shockwave on the first occasion he had. And you can only see why we would be praising him so much on that pick, right?
Yeah, no, very much so. I mean, the start of that fight was, you know, it was Cervus who were really trying to hard force it. They had the numbers advantage, you know, they had the TP, they had the Kha'Zix who was coming in, but, you know, Timely Grace arrived, just turned, and just made it completely unsustainable for Cervus to stick around, and, you know...
Yeah.
They almost got away with more lives than they did. It was just, yeah, pretty clutch play from Timely Grace there to kind of time the turnaround there. But, I mean, that Soraka on about 4 HP. You know, if you'd sneezed, she would have died there. But what an E to just save her.
Flatline coming in clutch for that first fight of the game. Now, he's making all the viewers in the chat who bet on the red team start to worry about their points. But do not be scared that much. It's only a 2,500 lead at 14 minutes, and the thing is that you do have Flatline on the Orianna, you do have Snades on the Graves, you do have a lot of scaling.
Onto Shio, and Shio goes golden. Elusive will be sticking around and not just chucking his support onto the bus, which turns out to be a smart move with Snades coming in from the side there, and they will just walk away. And fantastic engage from the Ornn, but I mean the Braum using a stopwatch at a decent time. The Aphelios and the Graves just stepping in from the bush there, just to kind of shepherd him away from that one. Prevents them from letting Cervus chip away at their slender advantage in this game, shall we say?
Now, speaking of advantage, there's now a second Herald that has spawned, and currently it is Cervus Esports who have their hands on it. but things might turn
plates at the
around.
moment, though. No plates on these towers.
Yeah.
So this will be worth much less than that first Herald was to Timely Grace.
But this also means that it is the occasion to finally open up the map a bit more than this very thin tier 1 tower on the bottom lane.
Oh, this will be challenged. Vipix stepping up there. I'm not sure you want to do that, buddy. And Eladin just jumps in there.
I think
But
he stole that
unfortunately,
one.
no. I was just keeping an eye on the. You could just see the eye of the Herald there.
In the Graves
they were playing with us. Yeah, they were playing with us. They waited a couple of seconds before picking it up.
So right now, as I was starting to say a bit earlier, right? Sure, you do have a lot of very worrying picks on the side of Timely Grace, and you have a lot of scaling also on that side. But now, if you take a look at the composition of Cervus Esports, you have Ornn, you have Kha'Zix, two very wonderful picks in team fights. You also have a lot of negation, and by that I mean preventing the enemy from basically doing what they want to do. In that you have Brand, which is a pick that prevents you from basically sticking together.
So it's just to be straightforward onto Vipix there, but he will be rooted by the Senna. And the Senna's now in a little bit of trouble. We get an R out coming out from the Aphelios, and that is the R out from the Senna as well. And Shio gets exhausted, but the tower goes down just in time. So we do not lose anyone in that fight, and that was incredibly lucky on the side of both teams. But what we do get is Timely Grace knocking down that tier 1 in mid.
Yeah, Takoda barely surviving with a sliver of HP here in that mid lane, and he's already back to full life. To perfectly illustrate what you were mentioning before, right, with the sustain thing. And so, yeah, we were saying that because I really want to get to that point, because it's really important to better understand the team fights later on in that game. But the thing is that you have a lot of negation tools on the side of Cervus Esports. You have the pool of Shadow on the side of the Senna that prevents enemies from auto-attacking. You have the AoE silence on the side of the Soraka that prevents the enemy casters from operating their champions. You have a lot of control coming from the Kha'Zix evolved spies, and then the Ornn, which is like
stepping forward a little bit there.
Control space.
The lone flatline to chunk her out a little.
So right now, both teams are kind of wiggling around that Drake. Things could be going bad any moment now.
And I'm just having a look at the
engage.
Time's there, and that is a hard engage onto Eladin, and Eladin's going to have to walk away. The Soraka there goes down, running towards mid, and so does the Ornn. The Ornn horn comes out, but obviously, the Ornn being dead, that's not really going to work, and it's a 2-for-1 now, and Eladin is there, chasing down Elusive, but he is going to be spotted out by Snades. And that is now a 4-0-2 jungler, and the first of these Mountain Drakes are going to go over to Timely Grace. And we're now building up a little bit more of a substantial lead.
Yeah, and not only that, but this Mountain Drake is also synergizing so well with all of that lineup, because think about it, right? That Aphelios is definitely going to be building a Death Dance somewhere in the 3rd or 4th item. This Orianna is definitely going to be getting herself some kind of Zonia or Banshee at some point. Sylas is also very fond of building resistances. You can already see him getting an Arm Seeker's Guard, a Seeker's Arm Guard in his inventory, and then the Graves, who tends to go for a lot of HP in his build, can also go with a Death Dance as well. So getting a very high value actually from all of that Bones Armor if they manage to stack up some more of these Mountain Drakes for the Soul.
Yeah, and I mean, that last fight, I mean, there was a lot of positional errors, but there was also a prep error. There was a lot of, there was a lot of timers down on the side of Cervus Esports. I mean, the Soraka had just used an R to save Takodo in that mid lane scrap that just ended, no deaths, but the tier 1 over to Timely Grace. And I mean, the Soraka walking forward and getting chunked out by Flatline there, but Eladin is in trouble again, and that is the flash away from that one. And here comes Innocence, who steals the Ornn horn and chucks it back into his face. And Flatline in the mid lane there, from out of absolutely nowhere, taking down the Brand. Thank you, Directing Camera, for deigning to show us the last 0.002 seconds of that fight. But we do have a big... Scrap
Flatline's
here in
basically
the
just e-shopping right there, saying, okay, I just have a brand, thanks. Now
and that is the heal coming out from the Soraka.
Oh yeah, but
Just
the tower has fallen.
ensure the tower's gone. And there goes the Ornn. And Shio does flash forward for that one. Oh, and here comes Innocence as well, and Eladin will go down, and that is a double kill again onto this Graves. And Snades is having an absolute ball right now. He just jumps forward into the tower, takes a couple of tower hits, because why not? You know, might as well try and even this up a little bit.
Looks like he was doing it for the fun for a moment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not exactly what you want to be doing if you're going to be...
doing the Baron right after that.
However, Eladin will not be able to come and contest this. I don't think think Cervus are going to be able to do anything about this one at all. I mean, there's the brand.
Yeah,
it's going to be something special to steal this though, and he's not going to be able to do anything about it.
Okay,
Timely Grace are snowballing this lead that they held a slender lead in the early, and Flatline chugging out Grape there as well. Does not want to walk into all 3 members of Cervus there. That would be dumb.
Yeah, he was kind of trying to go fish for that brand before noticing the presence of that Soraka, meaning he would not be able to kill him anytime soon.
Yeah, and of course, wherever Soraka goes, Senna goes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not to blame him though, because he already has the Morello Monomicon completed to add some anti-heal to the team composition kit, and you also have the Graves, who is sitting on an Executioner's Calling right now. So you definitely have some tools to try and negate some of what that support and that AD carry are meant to do.
I mean, there's no blame there at all, I'd say. Yeah. I mean, Flatline tried to take another pick, noticed that it wasn't safe, backed away with the Baron buff. Like, that's exactly what you want. You know, you don't want to be, taking these leads and then, inching them away against a team. We know Cervus.
Well.
Oh, and Innocence is going down incredibly low there. Innocence will go down, and surely Shio will as well. And down goes the Soraka there. It's a 2-for-1 all over the map now as the Braum goes down. So Cervus there winning a 2-for-1. You've still got Snade's Flatline, Elusive, who are the 3 big hitters at the moment on the side of Timely Grace, I'd say.
Yeah,
with Baron buff. And Flatline absolutely spanking the Kha'Zix there. And there's a pick that was safe to take.
Yeah, that was so nasty. He couldn't see the ball, actually, because it was sitting on the outside of the smoke. And so he got a surprise shockwave when coming down.
Run down my Flatline again. Flatline and Snade's jumping forward to take that one off Flatline's plate. And they're flexing on each other at the moment, Snades and Flatline. But especially they're flexing on Cervus.
Yeah, the 2 main carries right now are kind of making some sort of contest to see who's got the biggest run right now in that game. The 8-0-3 jungler or the 4-0-6 mid laner. Flatline and Snades are really carrying the team this time around, but you have to praise the work of Innocence. Having the pressure on the side lane all the time helps his jungler so much to navigate throughout the map.
Very much so, yeah. Oh, and Innocence is going to have to be careful here. Takodo and Eladin there, and there comes the R from the Senna just to kind of secure that one. And Innocence, stepping up a little bit too far. However, I mean, we're talking about the pressure in the side lanes there, while the rest of Timely Grace are pushing in the mid lane, and that is a double kill onto that Aphelios, who has so far in this game been kept reasonably quiet, and they will take the inhibitor tower in this mid lane, and maybe the inhib as well if they're feeling brave.
And yeah, the thing is that the situation right now for Cervus in that game 1 is really looking more and more dire as time passes. They are now sitting on 10,000 gold lead on the side of Timely Grace, having finally opened the base at 24 minutes. Aphelios is now recalling with 1,000 gold in his pocket, already sitting on the IE and Runan, as well as 2 items on the rest of the team. So they are definitely going to be rolling, and now it's his Timely Grace's game to lose. I do not think that they are going to be commenting the mistake that allows Cervus Esports to come back, though.
This game has just exploded in the last few minutes, though. I mean, we got to, 10 minutes with 1 kill on the board? And it's
Yeah,
16-5,
something like that.
and you know we're not quite at 25 minutes. And
The
this is
early
what
game was
we
very controlled.
love
Yeah,
to
yeah.
see. Mm.
And it was exactly what Cervus was wanting to get in that early game, right? As you said, only a single kill in like 10, 12 minutes or something, and then everything went down as soon as Flatline managed to land that clutch shockwave in that bottom lane fight. And this is exactly the reason why you do not let him get that champ, because he's just so good at finding these opportunities. And if you,
I mean,
even if
I've
you
got to
consider
say,
your
yeah.
team,
What were they thinking? Not banning out
Yeah.
Oriana. They surely will
Absolutely.
be for the rest of this series.
even if you are thinking that your players are very good at spacing in team fights and not clumping together for to offer that shockwave, it's not going to work. It is
okay.
TJ's flatline.
And Shield there catching one of the Ornhorns on his shield, and in comes Reborn Destiny himself into this game, and Innocence has to flash away from that one, and the stun comes out from the center onto Shio, and this is just a very tetchy little fight. Cervus, of course, knowing that being wiped out here would more than likely cost them the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the pressure is onto the middle lane of Cervus Esports, and it looks like for now they managed to fight back at the repeated attacks of Tiny Grace. But the thing is that right now there is a second Baron buff coming in 25 seconds, so they will have to defend that one again, or else it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be GG. They can't
don't know if they
possibly
can.
be defending. Yeah, they have the tools to do it though. You have the Call of the Forge God that is going to be coming back in something like 25 seconds. You can buy enough time to delay that fight. You also have the Pyroclasm that might be coming back soon enough. That can
I mean,
do a lot of
a
damage.
global steal is off the table, obviously, with the center ult down.
You have to gather now, or else it's going to be the
burned
Baron
down.
buff
Really
over.
quickly, we've got a Baron on 7,500 HP here, and it is being absolutely deleted. And yeah, I just couldn't really see an access point for them to try and contest that.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way for Cervus Esports to even close in on that Baron
Cervus going
retake.
towards Drake. Cervus are going to Drake. Timely Grace are going to end.
Yeah, they're watching right at the base.
Oh
Look
yeah,
at them
and here come the bees timers.
And because of that fake rotation to the Drake, they actually do manage to get their second inhibitor of the game.
And I mean, anytime they want now, because the Drake is up in 20 seconds, that's going to be soul point. So they're just going to, Timely Grace are just going to take that inhibitor. You know, happy to let Cervus defend those two lanes with the super minions there, and they'll clear out this topside jungle, and they'll go and take the soul point, and they're going to come back, and the next push will be with Baron and Mountain Soul, which will be incredibly difficult for Cervus to defend.
Yeah,
However, Eladin is going to try and attempt to steal here. He has been spotted out. Oh dear. And that was the flash forward. And that is Eladin, who is dead.
And that's
And
now a
I
very
believe
thick
this is
support.
going to be the game. Yeah, I mean, Reborn Destiny is going to go down. There's a fat chase forward. Snades is being an absolute monster. Yeah, I mean, report Braum for inting. Braum dies.
Oh, Flat 9 just flashing in for the finishing touch
There
on
is the
that
end,
center.
and there is that first game, and that is incredibly impressive from Timely Grace. I am fully expecting Cervus to, give themselves have a cold shower in the 5 minutes between the next game, and come back and with a new set of bans.
Yeah, I feel like this is really a reality check for Cervus Esports in that game one. They tried to get a composition that would scale off and that would benefit from a very calm and early controlled game. But the thing is that they got actually exactly that, and yet they still didn't manage to capitalize on it hard
This is what I
enough.
was saying. This is what I was saying before the match started, though. All of these top-tier teams in Group B, if you like, it's very incestuous. They've all 2-0'd each other. So they're all
Totally.
incredibly strong against some styles of team, but they can't, quite do it against other ones. But I mean, Cervus, early game, did show a lot of promise there. They got that early Drake.
Yeah.
The bot lane, the bot lane matchup was really working for them, and it was innocence really. It was innocence on that Graves just basically said, you know what, this is my game. He grabbed it by the scruff of the neck and
Snake's absolutely crushed that.
yeeted it into the enemy nexus.
And here's the thing, all right. Here's the thing. Servers do have the tools to construct a game plan, but now it's going to be whether they are up to prevent Timely Grace from getting their comfort picks in this second draft, because I do not know exactly what they were thinking, right? Letting the Orianna open, drafting into it, allowing for a very nice counter into it, etc. and whatnot. So you are definitely not going to be doing that again in Game 2, so you have to show a lot of adaptation coming into Game 2. You cannot go for the same kind of draft again. You have to completely shift the tables around, try to focus around mid-priority on your side, rather than trying to lock a blind matchup and whatnot, and try to do stuff with the Kha'Zix that hasn't even done anything in the early game. Instead, try to get a jungler that has some ganking power. Try to actually be proactive in the early game, because you did see that you would finally get outclassed when it comes to calm and controlled gameplay.
Okay, so also, well, thank you, Jadam, for inviting me to the next game, but also we'll be touching on to something new that is not so commonly used right now, but we are introducing it, and it is a nice little poll in Twitch chat. So if you have an MVP of this game, I would like the casters, as well as, of course, all of our Twitch viewers, to give us your vote, and then we'll be announcing right after the very short break of 1 minute who was the MVP of game number 1 between, of course, Timely Grace versus Cervus Esports, with Cervus Esports dropping the first game.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's got to be Snakes.
Go. So we'll be right back with you in exactly 55 seconds. See you soon.
Yeah.
Shabba!
Disco Dancer. Disco Dancer.
Welcome back, everybody, here after this very short break. I hope you had enough time to grab a snack. And yeah, we will be going on about the game we just saw, we have exactly 3 seconds left on the poll, so let me just quickly wait for that one to finish. And there we go. Complete. Let's see who was victorious.
Yeah, it was Snades. I
Yes.
thought so. Everyone
Has to
listens
be.
to me because I'm the most important caster in the history of League of Legends.
Yeah, 50% of the votes went into Snades. So if there's 10 choices and 50% go to one person, that means he has the majority, in case you don't know how that works. But yeah, with that being said, maybe casters can touch on what Timely Grace and, or in this case, Cervus Esports has to do different just to maybe win game number 2 and tie the series. Any idea? Maybe in draft banning out that Orianna flatline?
Yeah, definitely. Or at least have the decency to, if you are going to be leaving it open, make sure that you are not getting a blind matchup into it. Because, to be honest, you have the right to have a plan. You have the right to maybe even try and predict what Flatline was going to do. But the thing is that if he's so comfortable on that champion that he can go blind to any matchup and absolutely wreck you to pieces, then you're not going to be able to do that much. It's not about matchup when you're talking about diamond to master level of play. It's about confidence on your own champion, ability to pilot set champion, and the comfort that you have, and the affinity and time spent experience. All of that kind of individual discrepancy that is just so so important once you're in game, right?
Mhm.
So
For
what I'm
example,
saying is being
Yeah.
an OTP gamer is the biggest brain play you'll ever make.
yeah, I'm kind of saying that. I mean, there's a reason why Gablesh has never been able to play Shaco, for example, in the TJ Diamond League. It's because it's been always banned. Because whenever he gets his hand on a Shaco in a professional, in a team environment, he would just completely wreck the game because he knows his champion by heart for having played literally thousands of times every season. So, yeah, there you go. TJ Flatline, Orianna ban. Boom. As simple as it gets.
Brrr.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just-
I mean, they're going to be
Kind
listening
of
to this stream, and Timely Grace are going to be messaging you on League of Legends, like, you know, who's this guy? Screw you, Sherlock. I'm going to dox you and, you know, send you a poo in the post.
Damn, that's offensive.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I've got stories about that. But, I mean, only if the game gets really boring.
Okay, we're just waiting for Timely Grace to ready up here. There we go. We shall be heading into the virtual draft right now. And then wish best of luck to both of teams. And yeah, maybe we see something new for game number 2 between Timely Grace now on the red side and Cervus Esports on the blue side.
So now bans just keep coming through as we do not see a lot of change for now on the side of Cervus, still banning away the Fiora and the Camille.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see what they're going to do with that third ban spot. Like,
Oh,
there it is.
wow, that was a real surprise. No one was expecting it. But yeah, it's good to finally see it getting on the board. Now, Timely Grace are also going to be taking out the affiliates that they themselves previously played in that first game, and Cervus are just going to be happily locking in that Ezreal blind pick in the first slot. Now, that does mean that Timely Grace, though, they do have the Ashe available, and they're going to be grasping it away almost instantly, as it is a very good counter into the Ezreal. Also, a very good safe pick that you can lock in pretty much any situation right now, given the jungle champion pool being very favorable to Ashe right now. And they are going to be getting their hands once again on that Graves, on which Snades had the most impressive.
He's going to be pretty good about that pick at the moment, hey?
Yeah, yeah, he has a pretty good feeling on it today, doesn't he? Now, the Bard is going to be locked in by Cervus support, and we haven't been talking a lot about the bot lane champion pools because I said previously that they were pretty standard, but Bard is like the main distinction between the two supports, right? There's a lot of Ardent champions, or more generally speaking, things like Thresh, Pike, a bit of Nautilus here and there. Other than that, it's all Lulu, Karma, and Janna. And there you go. On that support, you have the Bard on the side of Cervus, which I really like actually because you do have a lot of follow-up available. You do have a lot of rotations that are
Yeah,
unlocked
exactly.
by the Bard.
The Bard will roam,
Yeah.
and kind of really help out. I mean, if Timely Grace is struggling in the mid lane again, then the Bard,
Catch opportunities also with the Tempered Fate.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot of options that open up to you. Maybe options were the thing that were lacking to Cervus in the early game. So hopefully with that roaming pick as a support, they will be a bit more proactive in the early game. Now you also have the Talia joining in as well, and they are going to be getting rid of some of the options that are quite bothering as a blind pick on the side of Time Grace. So getting rid of that Azir. Maybe the Corki will be joining up the bench as well, since the Syndra already got banned by Timely Grace themselves. Now, Cervus, they do have the Talia. It can go both in the jungle and mid
It
lane
goes the
position.
Akali, which is, I mean, still a decent ban because I'm looking at these OP.GGs. You do see Innocence playing a lot of Akali, this week and today as in this game. So
Oh, now Silas is the one who's going to be. I mean, the Cervus top laner is the one who's going to be playing Silas this game, and Timely Grace's Innocence has opted for the cannon. Actually, it looks like we got it all wrong because it is actually a Talia jungle. Silas might be going into the mid lane position, and the Sion will be going to the top lane. Now we can also see a small swap between the Sion and the Silas because both of these picks are actually able to be piloted mid and top. Especially if you do add a Yasuo mid lane on top of that, so that could be a possibility for Cervus' mid laner Flatline to handle the Sion in that mid lane. And Timely Grace are carefully taking a nice look at their opportunities right now. That Yasuo, he does have a small spot, but not very favorable as he doesn't have a lot of knockups into his team right now. So they are looking finally for a last pick, something that would fit quite nicely into a team fighting composition, as they already have a lot of utility in the Karma and the Ashe, and also some damage in the form of the Graves as well, some 80 damage. And they have the Kennen then with the ultimate to bring a lot of control and some burst into that comp. Now we could add some peeling to that comp with a Lulu mid maybe, or have the Karma go into the mid lane.
Okay.
So many possibilities. Karma and Lulu are a combo that we do see quite often right now in the pro leagues, when featuring an Ashe or an Aphelios, for example, with the, AD-centric type of composition, and that's going to be locked in.
Oh, thank
So-
God! I felt like I edged during that last pick. If we're still, I mean, if we're still enforcing the one shot for 15 seconds rule, they're going to be absolutely shit-faced.
Yeah, good luck for the hangover tomorrow, Timely Grace, because right now you're going to be getting knocked out if you keep drafting for so long. Hopefully there will not be a game 3 to add on top of that, right? And so as the picks and bans are now going real in the lobby, let's talk a bit more about these comps. So you have a lot of magic damage on the side of Cervus, right? And you have Graves, who's more likely to be stacking magic armor than magic resistance. He does have the possibility to do so with a very specific build that is not very jungle friendly because of the amount of gold required to actually build through it. You know, where you go with the Death Dance, then go with the Bloodthirster, and the Spirit Visage, so you end up stacking a lot of magic resistance, but it also adds a lot of very pricey items to your buying list. And Aish is somewhat magic resist friendly, where she can go with the Wits End somewhere in her build and have some Mercury trees on top of that. But aside from that, that composition from Timely Grace will be quite vulnerable to Cervus Esports, because they will not have a lot of magic resistance options to build into, and Cervus can try to capitalize on that a little bit, as they do have the Scion, they do have the Ezreal who has mixed damage, and they do also have a lot of poke on the side of Cervus, so they definitely have every single tool in their hands to decide how they want to play every phase of the game. Where if they decide to play slow, they can play slow, they have a lot of disengage, they have a lot of poke, they also have some good burst damage and all-in damage, not as much as Timely Grace themselves, but that will be more than enough, as long as the Snades doesn't get 11-0 on this Graves early into the game.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. This again. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking I prefer Timely Grace's comp, but you know, you got to go with the underdog here. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, do you feel like betting on the blue side?
I think I do, because everyone else has bet on the red side, and this is how I fucking got 125,000 connectors last time.
Do it.
Everyone betting on red side right now is wishing for you to bet on blue to at least get some.
Sherlock, hello?
Oh. Yeah.
You just bet 28k.
Yeah, you know, I'm some kind of cheater myself, you know.
I see.
How many points do I have? Okay.
Well, the 28k versus 25k, that sounds about fair.
Just knowing that the 28k are all on the same person, so.
Yes. Enjoy the split of a pittance.
Oh no. What have you done? What have you done, my sir? Oh, I need to switch the scene. There you go.
So, everyone, just as we are discussing the bets, I do remind you that bets are once again open for the second game of the TJ Diamond League today.
And remind them that the maximum is 100,000, not 10,000. So, Shio, you're about to int.
Oh, so I was about to int, and I entered before, actually. But you did lift the limit up then, without telling me, actually.
That wasn't me. You can blame the other person who was in charge of that.
Shio, I say this every single time I cast now, but some absolute bastard changed it from 10k to 100k.
Now I really have to wonder.
Who the fuck that was?
Is it because you really wanted to go above sleeping one in the Senate?
It wasn't me who changed it. First of all, second of all, I lost all my points because of that.
Behind all along.
No. I lost all of my points.
Never get Alex on the casting decks with Jason. Like, I'm literally away for one night. I come back. I have no points, and Alex is on 540,000.
Alex was just always betting against me, and I did bet all the time, not realizing I'm betting literally all of my 400k away. So, yeah, as you can see there, Alex has my 500k points by now, nicely accumulated.
So right now, you are the one who's gone broke, then.
Yes, I am sitting on merely 11k thousand. 11k points. I am very broke myself, but yeah, with 1 minute remaining, let's chat a bit more in the Twitch chat, so I don't have to see this top 10 anymore, please.
Spam in the chat, spam something, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, crap spam coming later. But yeah, we're also looking for emojis or anything. If you guys have any cool ideas for Twitch emojis, Discord emojis, hit us up in a DM and let us know. Thank you, Jedam. That is very, yeah. How about you take this one?
Spam the circus to help Cervus. Come on, guys, let's make a creepypasta out of it. Not to make them sound like clowns or anything, but you have to find an emote, obviously. Now, let's get a bit more serious, right? We only have about 15 seconds left on the spectator delay, so we are going to be able to take a quick look at the runes. And also, we are going to be able to take a quick look at maybe a bit more of the dynamics of these two compositions in the early game. Because we do have Graves. I said before, right? Graves, power farming, camps, gold, yada yada. But Talia, on the other hand, is a very different kind of jungler because she's not that fond of doing her camps. She's more fond of, sticking to walls and going and running around in her jungle at Mach 20 and trying to get as many ganks as possible using her laner's gank setup. And when you have the Bard, Silas, Sion, I really can't stress enough how much gank setup you have. So, you have to keep your eyes on Elodin this time around, because on the Kha'Zix he didn't have a lot of options, he didn't have a lot of winning lanes, and he didn't have a lot of time, actually, to be able to do pretty much anything in that early game. Now, on the game 2, this is very different. This is a Talia that's running the Dark Harvest, so you can definitely expect her to go to try to go as ham as possible in the early game, try to feed off so much that she will go completely uncontrollable and get out of control for Timely Grace to handle, just like Snades did in the previous game.
And we shall be loading onto the rifts. Teams are about to spawn in. So betting is about to be closed. Get your last bets in as we have the first seconds of the rift already on our way. And Sherlock and Jedlam, I wish you guys happy casting when Cervus is trying to tie the series, or Timely Grace will make it a clean 2-0.
Let's see that as this time around, Cervus, they look like they are up to a little something. They do have the Bard, so we could see some magical journeying into the enemy Tribrush. So let's see how exactly will they decide to go for that first maybe kill on their side.
I'm just looking at the little pissant bet that I put on that's going to make me rich.
People are counting their coins as Cervus is slowly counting their opportunities in that topside jungle right now.
We've caught out all 5 men of Cervus on that vision there.
Yeah, absolutely. The cannon was cleverly sitting on the outside of the tribush, which is the proper way of covering, actually. If you do not know, dear viewers, do not cover in that tribush. It opens up too much dead angles for the enemy team to sneak up on you. Stepping a bit further, however, is really really useful to get a good look around yourself.
Okay, so both teams have vision on the opposition red buff. And both junglers will therefore be starting on the blue side.
The blue side. Now, it's a question about whether or not you're going to be going for the vertical jungle once again, with both junglers who might be tempted to transition to the red side. See?
Yeah,
I can do that too.
I'm just seeing pings coming out from Graves there. He thinks Talia might be stealing his red.
Yeah, they do have a little ward sitting just right next to the Tribrush though. But the right path for Talia would be going through the lower river entrance in that topside river, so they do not actually know whether or not
Graves is going to be spotted here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Graves is going to go counter jungling, but Talia doesn't know yet.
Seen. No, she does. She's got the vision there. He's just cleared it.
Yeah, and right now Graves is actually running. He's caught in the act of theft, as he's now going to be walking all the way back to his red buff, empty-handed. And you can see now the Sion suffering a teeny tiny bit in terms of range advantage, as he didn't have the shield straight away to dampen some of the damages of this cannon in the early laning phase.
The Ezreal just taking so much poke from the Ashe there early on, and same with this Bard. They're both a little bit low, but I mean, it's hard to kill a Bard. That's why it rhymes. Oh, and Flatline going incredibly low there, and Takodo also in a little bit of a sticky spot in that bot lane, being poked out by that Lulu as well. And Elodin and Gray just in that jungler there, and there got a face check into Snades, and there's surely going to be a first blood in this trade somewhere. Apparently not. Oh, the cannon. Look at the positioning on this fight. Oh, and Flatline flashes away, but there's a flash forward from Elodin there, and Flatline, will he go down? That's the heal. There's first blood there as well. Oh, and that is a 3-for-0 in favor of Timely Grace. And the pings come out, and the execution for Cervus Esports just was not there.
And now these couple of kills, they shake up so much what is supposed to happen in this game, because you see, usually when you go with a cannon, your usual plan is to have him sitting here, doing nothing in the top lane, just not dying, which is the least that you can expect from your cannon, and then have him coming in teamfights as an old bot to buy control and space in teamfights, maybe buy a couple of seconds as well, if he does have a Zonias completed. But now he's fed, so hold on, because Snade's in that top lane again, mid lane again.
Oh, and Snades. Oh, Grape going incredibly low there on that one, and Snades is going to be the one who goes down, and that is a fantastic move there. A little bit of a power play from the Talia to drag a kill back into the Cervus stable.
I do believe you have maybe a bit of delay on the stream actually, so be sure to fast forward to be up to date with us. But yeah, so whenever Cannon gets fed enough in the early game, he has the option of going full AP glass cannon, and whenever that happens, it's actually very ugly to watch, because he's going to be coming in teamfights, and not only will he be bringing up a lot of control and buying time, but he will also be deleting whatever stands into that very slicey Maelstrom in these teamfights. So you have to watch out for that Ezreal, that Silas, that maybe that Talia even, who are going to be getting deleted if the cannon manages to capitalize on these two early kills. He's already sitting on a Hextech Revolver on top of a Cull, actually, in the lane. So he's pretty much very happy with the situation right now. Also got a nice double buff to make sure that he can kite Reborn Destiny very easily in that top lane. Now Talia in that mid lane again.
Oh, and Flatline is surely going to be going down here. Oh no, and that is a lucky escape there. And I'm experiencing a little bit of trouble here. I might need to load back in.
No, if you press plus multiple times
I got back up to date, and I just got a brief little bit of lag, despite the fact that my MS is fine. So I'll see how it goes in the next 2 minutes. And then
we'll have to see that now. Tiny bit of trade here, some former handshakes here and there.
Going to head on forward there, and we're going to fat gank coming out here from Elodin, but Elodin is just going to be poked out by that Ashe, and Shio, that's a fantastic little heal there, and suddenly it's Cervus who are going to be running away, but that is not going to work. That is a 2-for-0, maybe a 3-for-0. Yeah, it's going to be the 3-for-0, and there is an Ashe with 3 kills, and the poke is ridiculous, and the timing of that turn again, which we saw in that first game, sublime.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the duo of Elusive and Shio, they are the one who have a lot of the pressure on that lineup, right? Because Flatline, Snakes, and Innocence, we said before, right? They have already been sacred champions once of the TJ Diamond League, and this duo of Elusive and Shio, they are the one who are like left with a lot of question marks. Now Snakes in a bit of trouble.
He gonna die.
Oh, maybe?
Okay. Nah. He gonna die.
Yeah, you're going down, my dude.
On Natalia. Who I don't believe has played badly this game, but that wasn't a very well executed gank in the bot lane, you know, by anyone's standards.
Yeah,
however,
and like they for now in that series at least, they have displayed a very good read on every situation so far. They have never been seen being out of place, being overstepping a lot in these games. Even the first game, right? They weren't the one to shine, but they were living up to the expectation of playing alongside Snaze, alongside Flatline, these big names of the TJ Diamond. So Elusive and Shio, for now, they are really demonstrating why they got swapped into this roster, and following this new quote-unquote super team of the TJ Diamond. 3-0-1 already has the Big Water Cutlass in his inventory, and that Ashe
Oh,
has
Reborn,
all the
just going
tools
to
to
rush
be a good
forward
hit.
there and take Innocence down fairly low. We will get the
Yeah.
ult out from the Kennen. Reborn Destiny still thinks he can do a little something there, but it's just going to be a pretty substantial trade, actually.
Pops the Ghost just for the sake of rolling through. Now Snades has to flash away to make sure that he gets away with that Drake alive. And a single Mountain Drake is not going to do much to the balance of that game. But the next the next upcoming Ocean Drake is going to do a lot if it ever goes into the hands of Timely Grace. Because remember, right, Ezreal but Talia, we said a lot of pokes was on in the composition of Cervus Esports. So having an Ocean Drake on the enemy team is going to be really
and Innocence
harmful.
is in a little bit of trouble here on that Kennen in the top lane, and they will decide not to dive that one.
Yes, he has the flash available, so really unsure whether or not they can actually kill that little ninja in that top lane.
We have seen Cervus take some poor decisions.
Yeah.
You know, 2 dive into towers already in the first game. And I mean, we're just hitting the 10-minute mark, and there's already been 8 kills. It's surely going to be 9. And Snades is the one who picks that one up on Vipix, and he is behind this bot lane tower. And Takodo surely not far behind there. And that is a double kill onto the Greys. Snades there just saying, yep, that's a par, fam.
That's how you do a dive. Watch closely. He's just teaching the enemy team at this point.
Oh, the Ezreal ult, not a fiver. That would have been something to see.
And you see, like, this advantage that Elusive and Shio are currently sitting on is only going to widen further and further, because Ezreal, he wants to get his first item as the Manamune, but you see the early build so far in that lane is so weak. You have the Tear of the Goddess and the Pickaxe, which have so much few trading power than the Bilgewater Cutlass and the Recurve Bow, let alone the Berserker's Grief that are sitting right next to them. So there is absolutely no way right now for Takodo to be stepping up to get CS, and even if he does find a way to poke down the Elusive, even through the many shields of the Lulu, he will have to pay extra caution to not ever get in range of that Bilgewater Cutlass.
Okay, and there comes the R8 from Reborn Destiny, and yeah, flatline on there. This Karma's just gonna flash away. Show a little bit of respect from that. That could have been
beautiful rotation here by Reborn Destiny, though.
It just I don't know. It just screams of desperation a little bit.
Yeah, it does, but I'm still happy that they try things, at least, even when behind. Now
Okay,
they are
and
trying
here
something
comes
else.
Natalia, and Grape and Elusive are properly going at it, and that will go on to the Silas, and that is a bunch of shutdown gold going on to that Silas there, and Ashe is dead.
Yeah, perfectly positioned here from Elosian and Grape to finally get something back into this game. Juicy shot down, actually, also. The kill being worth like 600, 700 gold or something.
I will say it's a nice little rotation around that objective as well, because we've got the next objective obviously being this Drift Herald there.
Yeah.
And they have, they've got the control over that at the moment.
Yeah, and with the Ashe also, with the Hawk shots and stuff, they also do have the tools required to keep track of how when it is being done and where are the enemy team positioned. So
we might be shaping up for a fight.
Yeah.
Here.
Looks like they want to contest this one, actually. Graves is in position, though.
Oh, and here comes Snades in from the back line of there and goes incredibly low, and that is a steal from the Graves. He's not going to pick it up. Will Shio pick it up? Who's going to pick it up? Yeah, and here we go. And Grape will not be able to get the kill.
No one's picking up the Rift Herald.
That is a 3-for-1 in favor of Timely Grace. That is a 3-for-2 in favor of Timely Grace. And Shio runs away on that Lulu.
Yeah, now just going to be backing off with that Karma.
Reborn Destiny, come on, fam. I'm just having a look at that timer for the ultimate, and Reborn Destiny just flashes forward there to get that kill onto the Lulu, and Flatline also a little bit low. In comes the Bard ultimate to just buy a little bit of time, and that is a fantastic power play from the Bard just to keep his top laner alive.
Yeah, not only that, but also chasing away the super fed Ashe from a very low top laner, as you mentioned, right? It's almost a prowess here to keep him alive.
So we get the Snades, who manages to get the steal onto the Rift Herald. However, it's a free for free in terms of kills. So I mean, Cervus will be disappointed about losing the objective, but I mean they've at least
very happy to go even in the fight. Yeah,
you know, yeah. I mean, Natalia's got 4 kills on her now. That's great. Like Talia Fed is a humongous pain in the bum.
And also from the delayed recall, they are also going to be getting a nice Drake on the back of it. So Cervus are definitely not losing track of what they can get in that game, and they are not losing more territory than they should, which is already a good point.
They've got the Ocean. They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't manage to get the Herald. They've got a few kills under their belts now. There's a, what would you say, like a 4k gold lead, maybe 4.5k, somewhere between that, in favor of Timely Grace. But I mean, if they're smart and they pick their fights, which they didn't quite manage to do in the early game, then they can claw their way back into this one, I believe.
It's actually really wonderful for Cervus Esports that they still managed to find some positive plays off the back of some mishaps from Timely Grace. That Sion's not going to die here in that top lane.
Yeah, I mean, good try, but I mean,
yeah,
no.
Still has the unstoppable onslaught on top of that. So if you ever manage to stick some relevant damage on top of him, it's not going to.
The 2020 School Sports Day participation medal goes to Lulu in that instance.
So yeah, basically what you're looking at here is a team that got stomped pretty hard in game 1, and that is not letting go of game 2. They got on the back foot from pretty much game start. Oh, very good attempt here.
Oh, and that's a double flash. I mean, 2 flashes for the Sayonara. That's a good trade.
But you still have this tempered fate though, so there is still a possibility of trying to get on top of that bot lane later on in the game. Now,
okay, and there's a collapse onto Grape here. Grape's going to have to be incredibly careful not to get caught out there, and Snade is going to go incredibly low, so that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. And I mean, I think Silas is going to be reasonably pleased with that. Caught a little bit out of position, collapsed on, and manages to drag the jungler that was such a thorn in his side in the first game.
Yeah.
Into oblivion with him.
Also, it's very good for Snades because he spikes so much harder than the Graves on his first 2 items. So training 1-for-1 at that stage of the game means that he's gonna be getting his power spike faster. And the thing is that his power spike in the instant is more relevant than the Graves. So he's definitely happy with trading 1-for-1 that situation. But now you have to take into account that Timely Grace, they also get yet another, actually their first tower of the game right now in their pockets from that Rift Herald on the Lulu. So full gold onto that bot lane, and now the Lulu is already sitting on the Ardent Sensor.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
That's going to be feeling really rough for that for whoever he is going to be facing that Ashe, be it on the side lane or in the mid lane, because once you get tagged by that slow, you will have to struggle to get away from reach, right? You have the Ashe running straight at you from the Lulu movement speed buffs.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is what we were seeing earlier on in the game. I mean, look at the bot lane on the side of Cervus Esports. That's literally the difference in the game at the moment. Is, you know, that poke was coming out from the Ashe. You know, the Lulu's got the shields there. It's just a kind of clusterfuck of a CC and shielding, and the Ez Bard were just really struggling to find an answer to it. And the thing with Bard is, like, if you're a specialist on Bard, you will never kill the Bard. I've heard
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
5 people say this in the last 2 weeks.
Oh. A very nice arrow onto the H.
Lovely lash arrow, and in comes the Bard ultimate there as well to secure the kill onto Elusive 2, and that is another double kill coming through onto Talia. And it's maybe not a reverse sweep in terms of game yet, but a reverse jungle sweep.
Yeah, we could say something like that. Remember what we said earlier in the pro draft analysis? We said that this Talia wanted to get as fed as possible in the early game before the lane phase
Yes.
truly ends. And right now she's sitting on 6-2-1, has 100 CS at 90 minutes. So I do bet that she's pretty comfortable with the situation she's in right now.
Yeah, but I imagine that the Ezreal's a little bit
Underwhelming at this point, right?
a
0
bit
4 1.
underwhelming and a little bit like, could I not have had one of those? Please, sir, can I have some kill?
Do you really need all 6 of them?
Yeah.
Right now, teams are fighting for now what's going to be an individual Infernal Drake in Kennedy
Oh,
Sport
and
alone.
in comes the Talia ultimate just to split off Innocent, and Vipix going down pretty low there, but will not go down. And Reborn Destiny in a precarious position goes golden. There's a lot of low health bars on the side of Cervus Esports. They might get wiped out here, and Snades is looking to do exactly that. And ooh, Eladin turns and does a whole bunch of damage onto Snades as well. But I mean, yeah, Timely Grace just going to try and secure this Drake and yeah, back away. But I think Cervus got off fairly lightly there, you know.
Yeah, Innocence was the sacrificial lamb here. He was the one who got caught out by the Reaver's wall.
Yes.
And he kind of turned around to face Cervus and was like, I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me. Goes all out with the slicing mouse woman. Suddenly, all of the health bars kind of melt on the side of Cervus. That guy, remember what we said earlier? AP glass cannon? This is what we were talking about, right? Melting through those health bars with the Moranomicon, with the Hextech Proto Belt, and suddenly you have a backline that was so low in the team fight that even though they did have the positioning and they did have the initial key in that fight, they were completely unable to contest for that Drake later on. So there you go, the cannon finally doing his office in that game.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking like so much more open than it was, you know, even 5 minutes ago. I mean, there I was, I think, what, about the 12-minute mark or something, saying there's like a 4,500 gold lead, and that shrunk to 1.5k. A lot of that gold, though, I mean, if we can have a look at the gold distribution there, it's onto the Talia, and that is a misstep there from said Talia, and she gets burnt down, but there is a triple kill onto a Silas in the midst of all of that. So, I mean, there we're saying, oh, Kennen, sacrificial lamb there. Here, we're just going to throw that Talia there. I mean, there's a little bit of, oh, Reborn Destiny.
Yeah.
Ooh,
All of the
Reborn
damages are now gone on the side of...
Innocent's just going to try and run away from this.
Okay,
Ooh,
he does flash
there's a
safety.
flash over the wall. I mean, you kind of think that the Kennen could have taken 1 or 2 of them with him there. It's just got that kind of explosive functionality. And Grape will jump forward into Flatline, and Flatline going incredibly low, and Grape will get another kill. And what? This is Silas, right? I look at this Silas, and I'm looking at this. It says 7 kills. I mean, I'm sure I looked at that Silas like 5 seconds ago, and it said 3 kills. Sherlock.
Yeah, you thought he had a negative KDA? Take another look right now. And have another answer card to your lips. Because right now, that guy is just one-shotting an item now. After that huge
Can I
play.
just expand on what I was saying 2 minutes ago, though? Now there's a 1,000 gold lead in favour of Cervus Esports for the first time in this match.
In that series also, you could say.
Yeah, very much so, actually.
Do not fear to state the words, and give to Caesar what belongs to him.
I
As
am what you might refer to as Bet God.
so, right now that Silas is now sitting in a very he finally put on his carry shoes, And he's now sitting on a 7-4-3 KDA, has the Luden's Echo completed alongside the Hextech Proto Belt. Ezreal on the side of Cervus also has his Triforce and Manamune fully stacked.
He's still farming, bless him. But 0-4-3 on an Ezreal is not a good time.
And on the side of the Age, though, that Age that had so much advantage given handed over to her in the early game.
Flying close to the sun, shall we say?
Yeah, definitely taking a lot of risk here in his pathing. So yeah, that Age that had a lot of advantage handed over to her in the early game has now failed to capitalize on it. She's down 20 CS, and there goes the Talia.
In goes the Talia again. They want to shut down this flat line there. He's just going to be sprinting down the lane as far as her little legs can carry her. And in comes the Bard ultimate, and that is a clean hit from there. I say clean hit, it was right on the edge of the ultimate. I think she may have been able to step out from that. And Flatline also really not having a good time in this second game. Now they've stolen away that pocket pick. Ooh. Oh, and Grape just absolutely deleting Kennen in that bot lane. Innocent's getting
Baron is getting low though.
Try then. Yeah, I mean,
on the
we're
other
looking
side.
for Cervus Baron.
Come on, Snaze, you can do it. The Baron steals.
Snaze again. He's wanting to steal it, and he does. And there is a clip. Somebody clip. We'll put it in the channel on our Discord server to be posted on social media, and then never post it. I promise.
And Snaze, the man who was renowned for always losing 50-50 smite fights, finally steals away the Baron when it comes in clutch, when it matters the most. Snaze really having a great performance right now on this race today, and he's really carrying his teams on his shoulders, trying to get the most out of every situation. Now, Snaze, sure, he died, but for the better. That team that has the double support and two AD carries alongside with the team fighting machine has been given more time to scale up and be ready for when these team fights really come around, 5v5 all aligned. Because for now, it has mostly been skirmishes and whatnot, right?
I mean, how many times have they let Snaze... Is that second or third steal this series from Snaze?
I think
they
it's
just keep letting him... He stole a Rift Herald before, and the Lulu picked that up earlier this game. Got the eye of that.
Second steal
and
this series.
yeah, he's just stolen the Baron. Eladin is doing, bits in terms of pumping the damage into Timely Grace this game, but the objective control just isn't there.
Yeah, they kind of failed the ability, the potency to play cleverly around these 50-50 situations. But what do you want when the enemy jungler does have his flash available? It's really difficult to prevent him from ever getting into that pit. Now, have a look at the Bard positioning here, because he's really trying to seclude the rest of Timely Grace back under their T2 tower, as Reborn Destiny is slowly pathing his way up to the top side and trying to set up a 4-1 to put a deal in there on the hands of Timely Grace. You cannot defend all of your lanes at once if we are preventing you from gaining access to these side lanes. Now, Ken has made his way up to the top side. They are slowly trying to make their way up to that tier 2 top tower, as right now. Oh, there goes the arrow.
Yeah, the Ash arrow lands, but only onto the Scion, who is surely not the target that she had in mind. And Snake's there going low, but the Lulu shield comes out, and Innocence jumps in with that and then goes golden, and Reborn Destiny will go down in return.
Now it's really up to to whether or not they manage to defend that tier 2 tower. Ashe is still alive though, so you have to watch out for elusive.
There's Eladin there, and going to get a kill. Got a pick from the side lane there, and this doesn't look amazing. Oh, and Snake's doing his absolute best there. The Karma's just about still alive in that top lane. Well, you've got to say, that was a fantastically balanced fight from Cervus. Because there is a whole lot of damage potential there. I mean, you got this Ash, you got this, you got this Graves, the Kennen there, jumping forward and then going golden. You took a lot of the health bars low there.
Absolutely.
It just wasn't the synergy from Timely Grace in that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. They did try they did get a very good try with the Kennen ultimate, but he ended up going down instantly because he was just too far ahead with his flash and the surge of the E. But then you have to also praise Grape for his great decision making in that team fight, flashing forward to take down both carries of Timely Grace and taking down the supports underneath is what saved that fight on the side of Cervus Esports. That guy, he knows that all of the gold is inside of his pocket on the side of his team, so he knows that it's up to him to do the hero plays. And right now, this guy, you take a look at his itemization, he's definitely gonna be going aggressive. He has that Void Staff and the needlessly large rod. So this guy, he's not going to go for, I don't know, Lich Bane, Spirit Visage. He has none of that. He's going to go for full damage, baby, try to one-shot these carries and get them out of that map.
And this is, I mean, we're seeing pings out from both sides onto this Infernal Drake.
Yeah, Snake's looking around for some vision.
Thinking, here is another thing for me to steal. I joined the guild as my first action in Morrowind. It was a lot of fetch and carry, but now I take your barons for fun slags.
What a horrible man. He's gonna steal coming into your country, stealing all of your barons. But yeah, in a more serious note, right now, all of Time
just sold away.
Kind of gathering.
Yeah, the Bard and Scion now doing a little bit of bodyguarding on the front line, and Cervus pick up this third Drake. Yes.
Aside from that third Drake, there is now a second Baron that is about to spawn in something like 10 seconds, and you can see the vision control is completely in the favor of...
what Snake was confused by.
in the favor of Cervus. Right now, Timely Grace, they struggle to step forward in that jungle. It's not their own territory anymore.
I'm kind of rooting for Cervus here, purely because they've managed to turn this game around so much at the moment. They do need to close this out. To take us to game 3.
Yeah, they are really looking to match the score on the numpad.
Innocent's just going to hightail it out of there, sense the collapse well.
They finally managed to somewhat zone out Timely Grace from their own jungle, and there goes the signal. Weaver's Wall is down, and you can see on the other side of the map through the magical journey, the team has already started the Baron.
And there goes the Ash Arrow, which will come through onto Elodin there. And the Silas chucks one straight back. And that is a Bardar and a half, but will it be enough to be able to take this Baron?
Baron is still not taken down.
Timely Grace just running away with their tails between their legs there. And that's, again, such a well-managed fight from Cervus Esports.
Absolutely.
And we've not seen them doing that around objectives this series until that last Drake. And we got 2 in 2 minutes. I think they've been trolling us.
Do you think so?
No.
I definitely do not think that this tempered fate from the Bard right there at the edge of the pit, catching off Elusive and Shio both in front of the Scion who was charging up his decimating smash, was not trolling at all. It was a beautiful ultimate here that totally forced away both flashes from these bottom laners. And this is the reason why Timely Grace, they felt like they did not have the tools the proper tools to teamfight anymore. So they said, okay, let's go back, let's reposition, take our chances in a more controlled area where we at least have some vision, because that topside jungle is so.
Like when I saw Talia Trump build that fucking wall, I thought that's a little bit too early. I mean, they're not going to be burning down the dragon that super fast. But I mean, it just allowed the front line of Cervus to get into position and
Yeah.
just make sure that Timely Grace, couldn't get in the way of their Baron plans. They just need to be getting a little bit of bang for the buck out of this Baron buff so far. They're about to group up and yeah, okay. So the Bard moving towards the top side. They got 3 in the mid lane.
And look at that, they are beautifully playing around with the magical journey to make sure that at the same time 2 lanes are always pushing into the tier 3 towers of Timely Grace, making sure that... Oh, hold on!
We caught out there, that's a fantastic little Ash Arrow, goes straight down. We also get the art out of Innocence there. In comes the Redemption to deliver a little bit of HP, and I got a little bit of lag there, I do have to say, and Elo Din will step forward into flatline. I noticed now during that little lag spike, the Ash gets deleted. The inhibitor tower there is a gunner, and they will just respect Timely Grace and step away. They get the 2 inhib towers, and the Bard is just gonna fly away. Oh,
yeah, right now he's on his way to settle.
Surely no. Oh, in comes the stun, and that is the kind of Bard play that I was saying before. You're up against a Bard who knows how to use his tool set, and you're just not going to kill him.
Yeah, that guy is running around at Mach 20 on his own. He has those Boots of Swiftness and the Deadman's Plate for the added movement speed. So once you let go of him, you're never gonna be catching him ever again, right? And so, as we are discussing the movement speed of the Cosmic Man, there is now a maybe last Infernal Drake about to spawn in that pit, as it's going to be the sole point for Cervus, and with an Ezreal, Talia, and a Bard, that Infernal Soul is going to be doing so much. It's basically Exodia at this point. Weaver's Wall is coming down now.
I mean, if it works, why, if it works,
just like
then,
that.
Yeah, keep doing it.
Loading makes it look easy in terms of objective control this game.
Sion will be taking... No, Sion will not be risking that.
Yeah, he doesn't have to. He's just pressuring at the same time, matching the pressure of his teammates.
I mean, drawing the Timely Grace... Yeah, drawing a few members of Timely Grace up to the top lane, allows the pressure onto this mid inhib, which is also incredibly low. Like, this is just beautifully weighted play from Cervus, if you like, because it just makes the inhibitors going down an inevitability. Vipix there. I didn't doubt him for a second.
Taking a bit of damage here and there, but it's not really much. The arrow!
Oh, and great. Just gets stung. The Timely Grace does have a lot of catch potential.
Oh, he hits the wall here. There is a possibility that's... Never mind.
Oh, okay. No, they decide to chase the Bard, which, is not the best idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like we had that chat before.
Yeah, we got the Ezreal and Natalia pushing this bot lane there. So, States versus Bard. Let's go. No, you stay out of it, Sion. This is a 1v1.
Now, Innocence is joining into the fun, and Calm on the side, actually.
Oh, no, it's Bard. He's going to die. Look at him massacred our boy, and Reborn Destiny will follow.
He's trying to make his way to the inhibitor to take it with his passive. But the Lulu Polymorph will make sure he makes none of this. But in the meantime, though, you can see always pushing on all sides.
Yep.
And no matter how many good plays Timely Grace seem to be able to seize in that defending phase, they always end up losing a small amount on the other side of the map. So right now they have no tier 3 towers left. They still have all tier 4 towers, but that's all they have left.
They could look to take this Baron, but I mean, well,
they can look to contest it though.
You need to defend this mid. but they are headed there. And are we going to get the
what?
same play 3 times in a row?
Okay.
No. Ooh.
Now this could be really dangerous. The arrow comes on to the Ezreal.
This play, a little bit arrogant there.
Oh!
Yeah. Oh!
Ace in
and
the hole.
Nearly doing the magic for them there. And they're not going to elect to go straight back onto this Baron buff while it's healed up. Timely Grace now all in position directly behind this buff. You know, spread. The Grace is going to go top. That's interesting. The jungle is going to go top while we've still got, you know, most of the members of Cervus in the Baron pit. So, you know, clearly confident that he can get back into position there should they decide to start it up again. We do have the reset coming out of the Ez, though.
That's it now. Rabbit and Deathcap completing on that side. As Ezreal also snatched some Blade of the Rune King to add to his nice collection. And Natalia also has a nice Riley, Leandri, and Morello to her kit. So right now, all players of Cervus full gold invested in these inventories are comfortable for a fight.
They're going on the Bard again. There are other people on this team.
Weaver's Wall's not going to do much here to zone out any member of... Oh my god, look at the
I
damage.
might have taken that. I mean, the last 2 times she's used it, for the last Baron and for the Soul Point Drake have been beautiful. You know, they've just blocked off that entire jungle. And that strong flash forward from Innocence there, and a beautiful little play, and Great will also go down, and it's a 2-for-1 in favor of Timely Grace right now. And Snades will jump forward, but immediately decide that he doesn't want to super high commit to that. And, ooh, yeah, so a spicy little fight there. We get the cannon. Beautiful little, you know, flash forward, you get the ult, and then goes golden, just taking all of the damage down there, and then a little bit of follow-in from Timely Grace, just making it a better fight for them. Obviously, the cannon going down, it's a 2-for-1. It stops Cervus from getting this Baron for, you know, at least, you know, they can't start it up for, you know, another 35, 40 seconds at the very least. And which gives them time to move more towards this Elder Drake spawn time.
Yeah, and you know, like we're talking about the amount of damage that they would have with that poke composition on the side of Cervus with the Infernal Soul. But now, if you factor an Elder Dragon into the mix, that's pretty much
all the pings from Timely Grace are coming to.
Yeah, that's pretty much a kill every time you land a skill shot, if I'm exaggerating a little. So right now, Timely Grace, they are all gathering around that bottom side jungle quadrants, but they need to get into the river to actually get some relevant vision. Okay. Oh, the arrow goes onto the Ezreal.
Yeah.
Cleans the way instantly. Oh, there comes the Scion.
Beautiful. Meow.
Oh, the Ace Sword!
For the wall there. Yeah, at least you're going incredibly golden there. And the Scion with a hard bunch of CC onto him, going very, very low. Yeah, I mean, and both teams thinking, oh yeah, we can do something in this team fight. And Snaze just goes around the back of that wall there, and that was not the correct move. And this might very well be an ace for Cervus Esports, and yep, it will be. Down goes the Ashe, and that will be game 2 to Cervus Esports, just as I predicted for the 2nd time in a row. And I will take all of your points. Thank you, Slags.
Well, you're welcome, Jetland. I gladly get my points over to your wallet if it's yours. But yeah, there you go. Now, time 1-1 into the series. Cervus are still not taking any of your bull crap. You still storm them in game 1. Doesn't matter. They keep their mental cool, and they make all of the right decisions to come back into game 2.
Wow. That was... I don't even have words for what I just witnessed here. I was kind of about to fall asleep. I was like, okay, Timely Grace is about to just
352,000 connectors.
dang.
I bet 1,546 points.
Well, Sherlock, I think Jedlam is now welcome into. Oh my God, Sherlock is broken. Welcome to the top 10, Mr. Jedlam.
I'm back in second spot
Damn.
after a grievous injustice.
Oh god.
But yeah, back to this game. That was such an intense game until like the last minute. You couldn't tell who was winning because Emily Grace gave up such a huge lead, and then, well, as you guys said during the game, Cervus Esports just not giving away that advantage they had, and in the end managing to win that decisive last team fight. And there you can see how close this game was. Everybody in damage so close. It's not like one guy was dominating, and actually Cannon doing an immense good job with these team fights.
Cannon
Also.
was really working it, like Innocence on that Cannon, really working his ass off to try and make those team fights work out. But the following was just, really kind of difficult.
Not only that, but also Vipix on the board with his tempered face. He definitely had something else to say in these team fights. Like the last fight, where at the same time that Innocence flashes in with the slicing maelstrom, he completely immobilizes and incapacitates the Ashe for the whole duration of the ultimate, so she's absolutely not able to follow up with any damage whatsoever.
I'm still blown away. Like I said, I was about to fall asleep at the start of this game because I really lack some sleep from work and everything. But then they turned on the heat in this game, and I was like wide awake, man. Who needs energy drinks when you have the TG Diamond League here coming live at you with this exciting game? And I made so many clips, bro, because I was amazed by literally every play and every team fight. I was just, and in the end, even the Ashe dying by like one pop was just too funny to me. And of course, the Baron steal by Snades, like. What a roller coaster of emotions. But I think it's time for our very important thing about this game, because this will be the toughest choice, in my opinion, that Twitch chat has to choose now, because Vote for Your MVP is live. Give me your opinion on who was the MVP of this game. I could not tell you. This was just Snades doing the...
Getting ahead and getting the kills, yes, but the objective control until, really late in the game... chucking those R's across, building those walls to make sure that Timely Grace couldn't access the Soul Point Drake and the Baron. So, I mean, that was fantastic. But
yeah,
earlier
definitely.
the objective control was maybe a little bit lacking. And I mean, Grape, like...
Yeah, what a turn-up, boy.
Popping off, like...
He was like 3 and 4 or something, then he went to fucking 7 and 4, and then just skyrocketed from there. But also
completely
smacking the whole lineup in like one team fight or whatnot.
And
I was a little bit mean to Vipix in the early part of the game, because there was a few missteps, to be on the bard, which is easy if you're not a bard main. But like, the more he settled into the champ over the course of the game, the more he finessed it. So
also really amazed by Eladin's early game there. Like, we saw Snades kind of falling off in the early game. Eladin picking up the pace. Like 10, 5, and 13 is definitely a score you can be proud of after such a series that was so close. If you look at the kills, 29 to 23 or 23 to 29, depending on which side you're looking from. Very close game, but damn, 42 minutes, it felt like so much more, because that was intense, action-packed game. But we'll be right back with you. You guys can still vote for the remaining 1 minute and 10 seconds, and we will be grabbing a little bit of a break here. So we'll be right back in exactly, let's give it 2 minutes, so even the players can mentally a bit prepare for the last game, because the series is now tied between Timely Grace and, of course, none other than Cervus Esports here winning this second game.
Shabba.
can stay right here, we will play until somehow you can find a slightly different frame of mind. Right here in my arms, away from all harm, you'll be safe from all the flares, although I know you don't care. You can lift your head up to the sky, take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines with your shattered frame of mind. Or instead you could always stay. We can wait right here and play until somehow you can find a slightly better frame of mind. When they say you will fall, you can reach nothing at all. Hide your tracks beneath the rind of a different frame of mind. Is that what you heard? Broken words in the dirt, yelling up into the sun. Here we come, here we come. Here we come, here we come.
And there we go. Welcome back, everybody, here to the TG Diamond League season number 5. Timely Grace versus Cervus Esports is the group stage, but it's about to be a decisive game because this game will pretty much decide who will be going to the playoffs or will have a better spot in playoffs because seeding does matter a lot. And yeah, okay, well, Twitch chat goes mad about my Instagram post there. I'll be letting you guys know that we have Jedlam and Sherlock today on our beautiful cars, and they're doing such a beautiful job at commentating on these exciting games, full of action, full of drama, roller coaster action in game number 2. Game number 1, just a complete smash. Like, what is going on? I have no idea. And Jedlam becoming rich. Yeah, we'll be getting back to those conversations in just a second here in the Twitch chat as we are waiting for both teams to be ready. And let me quickly check on them, just to see, because one of them was on a toilet break. But yeah, there we go. They are running the virtual draft, so let's hop in because I've already started with us. So without missing a beat, let's have a quick look at what game number 3 has in store for us with Aphelios already first picked and Ash Volibear as the response.
We get a Braum in there as well for Timely Grace. So we're looking at Aphelios Braum in that bot lane, and of course now we have this this Azir in the middle lane to add to that. And obviously on the side of Cervus, we've got our Ashe in there as the AD carry, and we've got a Volibear which can be slotted around a little bit. So
Yeah, right now the Volibear is one specific pick that we haven't seen at all in this series, though it is highly prioritized right now in the meta by both pros and amateurs. So I'm really interested to see actually how these two teams are going to be handling the bear right now. And considering how Cervus's jungler Elysian has been so much more proactive. Elodin, sorry, has been so much more proactive in the second game when he had ganking opportunities and ganking setups, and also a jungler that was able to get ganks off in the early game. I'm really curious to see what he's going to do with the the dive potential of the Volibear.
I mean, Cervus finally getting tired of Snades on this grade in the series and going, right, that'll be enough of that. Obviously, I think they've Timely Grace have picked jungle. I think the second picked it both games. By all means, type at me in chat if I am wrong. But
Yeah,
Cervus really wanting to narrow down that champion pool, and the Jarvan, which I have only seen to be an inting champion in TJD of late, is also banned.
Yeah, but you have to think about the fact that they didn't ban away the Oriana. So by banning away the Jarvan, you actually deny some of the options for the ball delivery system. Now, sure, you do have the Azir, right? But Timely Grace, they are no stranger to shenanigans in drafts. And having the Azir, more specifically, you are left with banning away some of the jungle options, and so sure, you do get rid of the Jarvan because it is one of the most played champions of Snades in the TJD, and it is also a very good combo with the Azir. So obviously you try to get yourself in the best position possible. Now, Cervus, they are going to be left with blind picking one of the matchups, maybe, unless they keep the flex value of the Silas available to them, in which case they could get the better end of that red side draft, actually.
I mean, they could also slam. Yeah, there we go. So we got the Scion.
Yeah, so this could be a mind brain. What if
I mean,
they
the Volley
actually
and the
send...
Silas could be flexed. Yeah, they do pick
Yeah.
the Scion though, which.
So Sion into Azir is really not the best matchup you could hope for. So I do believe that this guy is going to be going to the top lane once again, as Reborn didn't have a bad game on that Sion at all. Actually, he was the one to be very proactive in the mid game on the side of Cervus, doing a lot of these unstoppable onslaughts down to the mid lane. He was also responsible for blowing a few flashes when it was needed, so I'm quite happy to see him back on that champion. Now, Timely Grace, though, they are going to be reacting to the Silent pick with Aatrox and Trundle. So Aatrox is one of the matchups that bullies a lot of these tanks if he's able to get the better trade in the early levels. And Trundle is a direct counter to Sion because you're able to stop the unstoppable onslaught with the pillar. So that's, direct interaction.
Terraform in action there for you. He must have a whole bunch of
before
under his belt by now. So all that headbutting stuff.
Look at that last pick, though.
Oh, in comes the fight.
Okay, so before we get into any betting or anything, you guys look at this composition, get it into your mind, and now for the very decisive part of last game. I told you this was the toughest choice you had to make. So let's have a look at the poll results, and it is a tie between the the mid for blue side and the jungle for red side, meaning that the mid laner for Cervus and the jungle for Timely Grace here were tied. So that means Grape and Snades here sharing that spot. What a game. So this tie could not be tied anymore than this, honestly. So with that being said, let's open betting. And let's have a look at what you guys have in mind for this game's prediction. And also, who do you think has the superior comp? And oh my god, am I looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I mean, we've just... if you only pay attention to the timings and the phases of the games from the two earlier drafts, you had a lot of picks that were mid to late game oriented, team fight oriented, right? Now you're finding yourself with Aatrox and Pyke on both sides of the draft. So Aatrox is a pick that is widely lane phase oriented. Sure, it's one of those picks that that tends to do really well into team fights, but it's mostly picked as a lane bully into the Sion. And Pyke is just straight up lane dominance. You're looking to directly make the life of that Aphelios a nightmare and try to get as much death from below as possible to get Ashe on float and get her rolling with items into the mid game.
So we're going to get confirmation where every champion is going to sit in their respective draft. Now, I don't expect to see that many surprises.
So I'm really struggling here on who to bet, but I'm going to go all out. So this is all or nothing.
Okay, so You're gonna all or nothing. This
14K.
means
Wow.
I mean, I want to give it to Timely Grace because they have the early game, kind of. And of course, Azir's, Flatline's Azir is just very, very
Okay.
good. But then I just saw Grape Silas, and also Volibear is just such a strong jungler, and we saw what he could do on Talia, so
Yeah,
My
I'm kind of
God, am
leaning
I-
towards Cervus, but I mean, we're all forgetting that the main difference between the two games that we've just seen is blue side diff.
Sure. Well, with that being said,
This is TJD.
let's go. I am broke now.
Okay.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna have to be the parasite here and vote for the red side then. Hope to get your coins in return then, Jason.
Oh no.
I vote red all.
Yeah,
So
that
maybe
is the wrong
Bet.
That's not well, that's bad.
I'm
Bet is-
voting for it as well. Let's go.
So whatever happens, Cervus, you've at least all got one MVP vote.
There we go. Well, now that the two broken people have betted, what do you think, Jetlam? Who in this TG Diamond League season number 5 group stage between Timely Grace and Cervus Esports?
you my lord, who are so rich
Yes.
and wealthy.
Spoilers.
Cervus. I think Cervus. What's
Do you-
Jason
do you
bet?
think-
14-3-5-1. So I'll go.
How about
Bet.
1k?
How about 100k? I mean, you would still have 200k left, so.
I
No,
will
let's-
match. I will match Jason.
Which
Betting
how
on the
much
red
do you
side.
need?
14-3-5-1. So I've bet exactly the same as you on red side. So if you're correct, then you will at least get
Well, plus the
something in
times
return.
factor of being smart, you know, like
No, you don't get any of that because you're not smart. Only I am smart today.
Yeah,
Which is
because
why
he's the
I get
caster
paid.
today.
Yeah.
oh damn.
So now we still have a little bit of time to talk about these drafts, and the main differences that we are seeing compared to the earlier games is the Volibear, right? Everyone is kind of wondering about that pick, and a lot of question marks are left unanswered because of that sudden change of direction in the champion pool this series. And the Volibear here is one of those picks that really likes to go all in. He also likes a lot whenever the enemy team has to come to fight into him, which is exactly what Aatrox and Trundle tend to do. Now, Azir also to a certain extent, because if you have that Volibear on the enemy team and also that Sion, it means you will not see the Azir do that much insects with the Shurima shuffles. So you have to pay close attention to Elodie because he will be definitely the one pacing the early game. He will be the one deciding where the action happens and when it does happen. And also, it depends a teeny tiny bit on Snade and his keystone choice, because if he decides to go very aggressive in his rune choice with, for example, something like press the attack or phase rush, he could be shaking things up, trying to go directly against Elodin instead of trying to go for the lane game. So we could see a lot of jungle shenanigans happen this game that could impact the map a lot. I'm especially thinking about the exact same kind of vertical jungling that we saw in the first game, where the Aatrox found himself having all of the jungle attention in the world so that he could pressure the Reborn Destiny a lot. And he was playing a tank, right? It was carry into tank again. So this time around, it's the exact same situation. And on the other side, though, you have Volibear, Ashe, and Pyke. So then again, right, a lot of threat onto the bottom side of Timely Grace that can result into Ashe and Pyke getting very fed, and that can also result into Sion falling falling behind by a lot. So we have to watch for the junglers again this game and how they interact with the Sylanes, because mid lane, Azir into Sylas, that's most probably going to be a sleeper.
Yeah. I mean, this is Yeah, this is kind of intense, hey? I mean, like you say, Eladin going to be dictating the pace for the side of Cervus Esports, but I mean,
Yeah.
the CC potential. I mean, the CC potential, the slows and the R coming out from the Ash. You've also got that Pike who's going to be snapping, looking for those picks. And obviously, you've got that tasty little R if you can arrive at the correct point, which will distribute so much gold into pocket across the board.
Okay, so already coming into the loading screen, I love what I'm looking at. Because right now, this is an Aphelios with a Cleanse and an H with an Exhaust and a Pike with Ignite. So that means we're going full combat summon spells on the bot lane, very offensive, and definitely trade-oriented. So Takodo and Vibix, they are definitely going to be going for as much aggression as they can into that bottom lane. And on the side of Snades, you do have the press the attack that we were talking about before. But on the side of Elodine, you have the press the attack as well, which is a quite unusual rune choice on the Volibear, because a lot of people like to go for the Conqueror rune, since, you know, Volibear is kind of Bruiser-esque champ.
Yes.
But in a vacuum, in a 1v1 situation, press the attack gives you so much more damage, especially given that Volibear has a lot of base damage, and he doesn't need that much stats in the very early levels, where the rune choice matters the most. So in a vacuum, in a 1v1, that's already a very good answer by Elodin to what Snades wants to bring into this game, the 1v1 jungle game.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be... They're both not really trying a lot early game. I mean, neither of these teams... We saw at the start of the last game, you know, Cervus just pushing as 5 into the Timely Grace topside jungle. And no one's really wanting to push that fuck it button in this third game.
Yeah, Cervus did have the option, though. They do have the Pike, after all, so they could have gone for something a bit fishy. But after the first attempt in the second game, they might think that Timely Grace would have adapted and tried to counter-invade, so definitely not going to take the risk. And now you see them landing down a nice safety ward next to the Tribe Rush in case the Trundle wants to go for a level 2 gank, because remember that Trundle is so effective at fighting ganks against immobile targets, and H just falls into that category. Now both junglers slowly making their way up to the other side of the map, as Volibear and Trundle have both transited to the other side. And now we're seeing the bit of a tendency that we were describing before, where Volibear is paying a lot more attention to his bot side, whereas Trundle is focusing around the top side of his map a little bit more.
That's a good old trade in that mid lane, both going around, you know, about half HP.
Big chunk here, taken off from that flatline health bar.
Snades was just having a looky to see whether he could eke his way into the side there and make Grape's life a little bit miserable early on.
And Flatline, he has to be careful, because Grape is not only playing with Dark Harvest, but he's also playing with Ignite. So his health bar could, I mean, the kill threat and the kill potential is going down really fast in that mid lane. If you tend to fall only to mid health, you can go from 50 to 0 really quickly with that combination of Summon Spell and Keystone. Now, right now, Volibear has stolen a Raptor camp and decides to go for the River Scuttle, whereas Trundle is slowly making his way back into the river as well. Both junglers are really mirroring each other and try to somewhat distribute evenly the pressure around the map between the two of them.
So again, this is a lot more like that first game. There's a little bit more.
He's coming though.
Oh, we got Vipix who's going to flash in there, and Elusive going low, 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 and that is threesomes. So we've got the yeah.
Oh, Trundle is also ganking.
And we've got Grape. Oh, Grape. Oh, Grape. He will wander out there. He is now flashless. Okay, so we trade the Flash Ignite of Vipix for, threesomes on the bot lane, only the Ignite on Shio on that Brom on the side of Timely Grace.
Yep, that's definitely called a repeat gank.
Yeah.
Not quite sure what the bear is trying to do. Helping his mid laner recalling. But
flatlining.
health bars are
Really going at it with Grape here, and Grape really stepping up there, and that's going to be the first blood. And Snades is wanting to get the second kill there. It's just going to be a 1-for-1 though, unless the Azir can find something onto the Volley Bear. And Eladin is just absolutely legging it, and Flatline with a pog little play there. That was the flash, and then the boom rush forward, and then suddenly no more Volley Bear on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Flatline now lying on a 2-0 KD at 5 minutes, but let's calm things down a bit here because it accelerated. Way faster than what we were initially prepared for. But the thing is that it is still a 0, right? Even if you give him a lot of resource in the early game, it's going to take him a lot of time to actually capitalize on them because Azir needs a lot of item to finally come online. So even though you do give him 2 kills over into the lane, over into the early game, it's not the end of the world for Cervus yet. Now Volibear is back onto the bottom side.
The Bone Skewer just about misses, but Shio will be locked away anyway. And will we manage to get this kill onto the Ashe? We will indeed. And the Aphelios there looking to try and trade something onto that Ashe, but just, really unable to because it's just such a precarious situation. And yeah, there is that regank that you were talking about.
And Pyke is not even hitting the level 6, and Elodie is already spending a lot of time on down that one.
Isn't even hitting the Bone Skewers and they're getting the kills.
Hell yeah! Like what? Oh my god, that was the absolute.
Okay. Grape.
Yeah. Trundle has no mana though, and he's level 5. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. He's just
Grape. Grape. Oh, this is very, very naughty indeed. And I thought it was an int, but it just seemed a little bit too controlled. Grape's movement was very, very deliberate across that entire thing. You knew exactly what he was doing there.
That was so sexy from Grape. That guy is so comfortable on that Silas in the mid lane. It's really a wonder why he didn't play. Why he didn't prioritize it in the first game initially. Actually,
I mean, what we've learned is put Grape on Silas. Don't let Flatline get on Orianna.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I do believe that everyone is going to be going home with a lesson in their minds tonight, whatever the outcome of that game is going to be. I can see Silence suffering a lot, actually, from all of that, but now here comes the cavalry.
Okay. And Innocence finds himself incredibly short-handed in that top lane, and Reborn Destiny also going incredibly low, and that's a smart little flash from him. And whoa, they nearly managed to pull this one around. And that is going to be a 1-for-1, and Snade suddenly finds himself chasing down Elodin, who's very low. And that, yeah, I mean, that is one of those where the Trundle's timing to get up to that top lane.
That was very messy.
And just again, we've got these. Granted, it was Cervus in the first game and a half, but we've got these weird tower dives that are just shouldn't be. So, I mean, that's another 1-for-1 again in this bottom lane. That's 1 kill going onto the Ashe and 1 on the Aphelios. But here we are in the mid lane, and Snade is going to be seriously caught out. And they're going to try and also work something here onto Flatline. And Flatline just uses that R and walks away. So 6 kills to 4 in favor of Cervus. And they've also taken that opening Mountain Drake. 3 minutes on the counter, and we will have a Cloud Drake, meaning that we will have either an Ocean or an Infernal Soul, which are, in my opinion, the 2 spiciest souls. Oh, and Grape goes in on Flatline there. Ah, Vifix with the R saying,
First-
X gon' give it to you.
First death from below of the game, baby! Now that roaming pike finally hits 6, and oh my god,
Wait.
it never stops actually, no. Finally I get to... You get to breathe a little in here.
We had
But
the first 10 minutes of the first game, which is a little bit of respect coming out from both teams, and the more and more we play this series, the more of a clown fiesta it becomes.
Yeah, I feel like the
I
teams
am loving it.
have suddenly moved in onto the fast lane in Game 3. The tension has been building up all series, and now they are turning up the thrusters as they are already at more than 1 combined kill per minute in that game, which is the most that we have had all games so far. That's actually crazy, dude. So let's recap a bit. We're hitting the 10-minute mark. Sion has barely some BAM cylinders. You already have the Juggernaut upgrade completing on the Trundle. Azir is already sitting on a lot of sub-components from his items already. Lost chapters completed. Has the Stinger in his inventory.
However, that Azir was 2-0, now 2-2.
Yeah.
They have identified that they need to stop that shit from happening. You know, they need to stand on it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aish again sitting on the Skirmisher Saber already. I mean, the big water Cutlass. And the Call. And the Silas has these tier 2 boots completed already, so we might be seeing a bit of roaming here from him.
I'm loving this little choice in the bot lane, but here we are in the mid lane, and Grape! Oh,
Great Bailey dying here, has to flash away.
yeah.
Oh, there's the dive here onto the Sire.
Okay, on top lane there, and Reborn Destiny is going to go down, and surely Innocence is going to be following there. Yep, that would be another 1-for-1, because I don't know whether there's any other such thing in this game as a trade without giving at least something to the enemy team. It's not
what they're doing into this
in
game.
that respect.
We are having nothing else than equal trade here in this game.
And this Ash seems a little bit mispositioned there. She does use that and in comes the from the Pike, but he's going to go down. It's a 1-for-1 now, and Shio. That's a bit of a waste.
A bit of a miscalculation here on the death from below means that Takoda will be giving up his life, and Vipix will be giving up a lot of this juicy extra gold. So right now, Volibear is now getting on top of that Cloud Drake, which is also pivotal when you have a narrow, a goddamn Silas, a death from below, a Volibear dive.
I do kind of sympathize with that on the Pike, because it's like the death from below of Pike is, in my opinion, the easiest ability in the game to snatch at, because you just see someone with low HP and the little mental gymnastic that you've got to do. I just got a little bit excited there because Flatline was hard traded in the mid. But yeah, that little mental gymnastic that you got to do, the quick maths to make sure that you've got enough in the tank to secure that kill. Oh, and Snade's there. So the Silas steals the Azero, throws it at the Trundle, and that will be the limit of the trade in this mid lane. The Trundle just allows himself to be yeeted out of that lane.
Yeah, he just came here to be yeeted out of the lane. That's what it really felt like, watching it. Now Pike, again, it has gone for some fishing. Will catch the Brawl. Nothing else happens. Oh, Rift Hero is now laid down to the mid lane.
Rifty Boy in the mid side.
Oh, there's the arrow. Will not find anyone, actually.
We've got an Ocean Soul, the first two going over to Cervus. But I mean, it's been hard to track the objectives because there's been so much fighting.
Yeah, I do not even know if this is, this has to be the first Herald already. So, right now, both of these teams, they only managed to get a small scratches here and there at the enemy towers. Aatrox not quite able to get under the Silent Tower to get some relevant damage down on it. And now we can see the
left on Timely Grace's tier 1 there.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I'm taking from this is, that was a cheeky little bone skewer. But what I'm taking from all this is Eladin on this on this Volibear as opposed to Eladin last game on the Talia. You know, this time round, all of the kills and also all of the objectives in the early game. Like,
Yeah, this guy is definitely getting everything inside of his own hands. As Juggernaut augment is completed now, I believe he's on his way for a Deadman's Plate, maybe. Or we could also see something like a Knight's Vow, even though I would heavily doubt it. There we go, the Giant's Belt to confirm the Deadman's Plate in his inventory. Now that's a very weird spectator bug that I have on my screen, where the bush is invisible in the river. But whatever. Now, it seems like around the 10-minute mark, things have sped up so much, and now teams are kind of like taking a deep breath as they are factoring in what just happened, and slowed down the game a lot.
There's no objectives for the next 2 minutes. Vipix, though, still, you know, he's flanking around. He's seeing whether he can try and pull this Aphelios out.
Yeah, he does have the mobility boost, so he could definitely be trying a bit more with
He
the
kind of gave that one away. Maybe he should have just stayed in the tri-bush there. And,
Look at Flatline and Snades, though. They are slowly gathering towards the bottom side of the map. Get spotted by Hawk shots. Beautiful awareness and read here by Takodo to prevent the 4-man dive from happening.
Okay, so...
Bone Skewer charging up.
Yeah, that's the Bone Skewer coming through onto Elusive, but this all just feels very forced. I mean, Eladin just needs to walk away from that. This is just gonna become... Yeah.
Yeah, and also Elusive does have his cleans available, so that's maybe not the way...
I'm not trying to set up this dive. And I mean, here they are. They found themselves in a situation where they're getting engaged without the turret, and that's a beautiful little Ash ult there to stun Snades on that Trundle. But all of a sudden, it's a 5v5, or rather a 5v4, and Innocence, will Innocence be going down there? Innocence will be going down. But Grape is super, super low there, and will be smacked into oblivion by that Azir ultimate. So a 3-for-1 in favor of Cervus. They will also pick up this bot side tower, and my criticism for them really hard trying to force this play, completely unmerited apparently, because their patience really paid off. They managed to bait the entire side of Timely Grace, and not only did they manage to bait them all down there, they managed to get them all to a spot where they could engage between the tier 1 and the tier 2, where they weren't taking any damage from either tower, so the ball was effectively in their court.
Not only that, but also Elodin had the perfect spot to land the best ultimate, get a lot of space in his pocket to teamfight effectively, and they were teamfighting in a very wide open space, so Aphelios, Azir, and Trundle couldn't actually be effective. Just walk in there and steals away the Ocean Drake, just like that Snake. Look at that in the chat.
And we get the dude out from Elodin. Let me win a smite fight, he says.
Volibear is just asking for it, but you have to fight for it, my dude. Else it just doesn't count. And right now, Snades is looking to gather one more objective under his belt, but he will have to cancel that one away as Grape once again spots the enemy team doing that objective.
Yeah, and Grape becoming more and more scary over the course of this game. We've got, you know, the Hectech, we've got the Lost Chapter there. I mean...
Yeah. Now hitting the 18th minute mark. Last chapter completed on both carriers. Now here goes the Trundle though.
Oh, Grape! The scary Grape! Will not be able to
was that damage?
But we'll surely be able to take one with. That kill goes onto the Braum though. That is not ideal.
Yeah, definitely not what you actually wanted. Let alone having your AD carry die in that
He's just going to run it down at him. He's just going to turn around and go, you know what? I'm a massive bear. Smack!
Oh, he presses that trigger.
Oh.
And Death from below barely misses that Trundle's ass. Now you have that Siren who's really done a great job at actually blocking that Aatrox in this game, because Innocence hasn't been doing anything the whole game, it feels like. Aside from just getting a dive off with the help of his jungler, he hasn't been pressuring or even like remotely threatening the Sion in the top lane. Reborn Destiny has been doing a great job at staying relatively safe and also containing the split push threat. So it's like playing 4v4, but you like one of your best pieces is blocked away.
Yeah. Oh. Pike?
Just being the annoying little hit.
Paladin there is in place to just absolutely smash that, and there comes the Ash Arrow. Oh, and that is really solid work from Snades there, just to for the escape of his support. And the Silas is just bullying this Azir now. Yeah, so Flatline, you only just come from base, runs up, completely chunked out, so about 150 HP, runs back to the fountain.
Really good here, read here by Grape.
That would be a Silas. No.
And Grape right now is playing out of his mind in this game as well. I mean,
Hmm.
last game, he was kind of underwhelming in the early game and had to come back in order to get noticed, but right now he's making one hell of a statement already in the early game. So this guy is really playing his minds off, despite suffering a heavy CS deficit. He's completely preventing Flatline from going anywhere around the map, which would be what you expect from an Azir with an early advantage.
The Silas is roaming constantly. Look at the CS diff.
Yeah.
There's an 80 CS diff in favor of Flatline. Like, Flatline is farming incredibly well, and he will make himself a complete nuisance. If they can manage to just withstand this little bit of barrage that they find themselves facing. Obviously, now we're on 21 minutes. We've got that Baron on the map. Obviously, we've also got Snades making himself a nuisance around those Drakes. So we're not on a 3-for-0 Drake differential. We're on a 2-for-1 Drake differential. And if Timely Grace were to claim that soul, that would mean that they did manage to get 4 Ocean Drakes, which would be super, super powerful in their pockets.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you do have 3 very tanky picks in the likes of Aatrox, Trundle, and Braum. So having that Ocean Drake sticking on that front line would be pivotal for them. It would also make Pike's health a nightmare because of how long he would have to wait for the health bars to finally drop low in team fights.
Ooh, there's a bone skill.
Yep.
But only onto the Braum.
Not really the kind of fish that you're all looking for.
No.
This is a fish from the north.
Oh, okay. And he just keeps finding the Braum with those. And the Azir, that's exactly what we're talking about. The Azir making himself a nuisance in that one, and there comes the shutdown onto that. That is a double kill onto that Azir. So all of that farm, 211 farm, 22 minutes onto that Azir, making himself an absolute pain in the arse now, and that will be a triple kill onto TJ Flatline on that Azir.
Grape is looking for more though.
Oh, and Grape really, really wants to kill this Azir.
He doesn't have a Scorned Abduct.
Oh, okay.
And now he did, and just gets
in a 2-for-1. So that is overall is a 4-for-4. We get a kill onto Aphelios there as well, which I'm sure Elusive will be nice and happy about.
Now watch for the death timers though. You have 10 to 20 seconds remaining on all members, on all 10 members of Timely Grace, whereas on the side of Cervus Esports, that Volibear is here, accompanied by his support and the top laner, so that means they do have the advantage to take over that third Ocean Drake, the first one, and bring the enemy team to soul point. Now they are looking for...
There we go.
Yeah.
And
Securing that
Elodin
one.
will surely be...
does not give the Smite fight opportunity this time around.
He brings the Scion for a little bit of crowd control.
Yeah, definitely. Also space control, because you
Yes,
can completely deny a passage or an area by just charging up and holding onto the decimating smash. Now Volibear is looking for the Braum.
Okay, Volibear just absolutely hammering at them. DJ Innocence there will make their life a living hell, and we get the missed Ash out in the midst of all of that, and there's a lot of low health bars on the side of Cervus Esports. This fight going much, much better for Timely Grace, and that is a triple kill onto that Aphelios, who is now also popping off, and 1 kill onto the Azir, and Vipix will also go down there. That is an ace onto Timely Grace, and that will mean that this Baron will also go to Timely Grace. That was just such a poorly executed fight from the Cervus. Eladin, early game, doing so well, but in the last 5 minutes, just making some really bad decisions with these engages.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Braum is definitely not the target you want to get on top of in that jungle, especially if you do not know what's behind him. And when the answer to that question is the Azir Trundle and the whole team, you're just running straight into your death. Not only that, but also Silas re-entering the fight when after dishing out all of his damages onto the Braum. You do not have any more damages left, and even when your AD carry is right on his way and right behind you, that Ashe got intercepted by the Azir on her way to the team fight. So you don't have any damage to output. You don't have any space to fight in.
It was where he picked it. I mean, running around the back of that blue buff pit into, you know, they didn't have a ton of vision there. They've still got that ward there that was left previously, but I mean they don't know where all of the members of Timely Grace are.
Yeah.
And that's not Cervus's house, you know. That's not their house to be able to, you know, say, you know, this is where we're gonna make our stand. And you know, it was just positional. They weren't grouped. They didn't have the vision that they needed. And now look at what's happening. Timely Grace just marching with impunity down. They've got this Baron buff.
Yeah, it's already a 3,000 Baron power play in the favor of Cervus. Now here comes the Scion though. Unstoppable Onslaught cancelled before going too far. And yeah, so 3,000 gold, Baron power play.
Again, the bone skewer onto the Braum, like, pull the other one. Like,
not really the best, that's absolutely not the target you want to look for. You want to get that Aphelios or that Azir inside of your team. Volibear now getting caught.
Eladin and Volibear getting absolutely rubbed out, and so is Great. Oh, and this looking bad.
Yeah.
This might be game.
This might totally be game. The Azir for the finishing touch.
And Flatline will go down, but Flatline will be happy to go down.
Wait, what's happening?
Oh, yeah, Freeborn Destiny, they're just...
Yeah, so now with one hell of a messy dive here in that... under that tier 3 mid tower to finally crack open the base.
They can't end here.
No, they can't end anymore. But yeah, so after a very messy dive, they finally end up cracking open that base, and now it just feels like rinse and repeat from game 2.
So Cervus have 2 Drakes advantage, and they've completely thrown away. Yeah, I mean, Timely Grace completely hinted away their lead in the second game, and Cervus doing the exact same thing here. They're now, you know, 2k goal behind. I think they've reached 6k ahead at one point, Cervus. But I mean, they're just not respecting how much. I mean, the Azir completely popping off. The terraform capabilities of the Trundle. The Pike keeps trying to engage on the friggin' Braum for some reason, and the Volibear is just screaming and running at them, like, and just seems confused that won't work anymore. They really need to just. They need to strategize within the team, you know, come up with a new tactic, a new solution, how to play this next fight, or that will be the series for them, and it will be a massive shame to just see them, you know, throw all of this hard work away.
Absolutely.
That is not to poo-poo on any of the work that Timely Grace have done here. Blue team, okay, so that is the second Ocean Drake in favor of Timely Grace. That will not be soul point there. And Innocent's going down incredibly low there, but Elusive just like Eladin again.
Death from below.
And Vipix there. The death from below comes out, and that is a 3-for-2 in favor of Cervus there, I believe.
Yeah, oh, look at that. That's
2 for
a
2.
really good teleport
3 for
here
2,
coming
sorry.
from Flatline.
Yeah, there was already one death counter up there. Yeah, okay, Flatline going. Yeah.
No, it is a 3 for 2.
Yeah. And the Azir, they just didn't respect it, man. Like, when I said, look at the farm difference, this Azir is like, he's down on kills, but the Silas has been roaming. The Silas had about, I think, 111 CS, and the Azir had 192. And I looked at that and said, that is going to be a problem. Very next team fight, you get 3 or 4 kills onto that Azir, and then Cervus haven't been able to do very much since then. The next team fight after that, the Aphelios gets 2 or 3 kills on. Like, and then suddenly we got an Aphelios who was 1-4, who's now 7-5.
Yeah, that's what we were mentioning before, right? We said that this Azir would not capitalize on the advantage he had early on the moment, but right now you can see that after piling up some of these minions, after piling up small advantages after small advantages, it's finally starting to pay off, and right now Flatline is completely holding the grasp of that game.
Someone in chat before saying, oh, I hear Timely Grace, big mental boom team. From the looks of it, the Fire Controller laughed. You are wrong.
Yeah, right now a lot of vision has been laid down in the river in the favor of Cervus, but Timely Grace are finally taking over, trying to reconquer that topside river as the next Baron is now
And they are
spawning.
melting this Baron. Look at it go. They're not going to be able to get there.
That's an Azir and the Aphelios, everybody.
This is, okay. Oh, and Eladin finally gets his first steal of the game. And this is the big Bucks fight.
Aphelios and Azir are dead!
If Cervus could go, they could end here. If they ace, they could end. And there's a triple kill onto the pike there. And
oh my god, it's a full ace!
It's a full ace. Why are you backing?
They have
Push.
to. The mid lane inhibitor of the mid lane super minions are pushing in, so they cannot end. It would take too much time to push that mid lane. They have to.
Top lane.
Rest push, one defend, rest push, one defend, rest push.
They have to gather around on the side lane and try to go for a final push, but there is just not enough death timer onto that Aphelios and Azir to make it to the tier 4 towers. Best they can do maybe is an inhibitor tower. Now we can see them pushing on all lanes on the map. This might be the salvation that they need to overcome the throw that they did earlier on. Ashe will not be able to actually open the base in that top side of the map. Silas will take that tier 2 tower actually. Never mind, tier 3 top tower has fallen, but the inhibitor is still well and healthy, and Silas will not be able to scrap that tier 2 bottom tower.
I gotta say, one defend, rest push.
Oh my god, what an amazing turnaround in that team fight actually. Like, that was insane. Elodin flashing in for the miracle steal. And then the ultimate in the middle of the pack, as well as the death from below stacked on both carries, instantly deleting Flatline and Elusive in that team fight, making it such an easy win for all of Cervus Esports. That was beautiful.
Right. So we are under 1 minute out from that Ocean Drake. We've got all of these pings coming into it from Timely Grace.
Yeah.
They know that they cannot give up this soul point to Cervus. The last 2 Drakes, they've been successful in taking out from under Cervus's nose.
That is an incredible game that will have an incredible ending. You have to watch out for this next Drake. It's going to be decided for the game.
I believe this fight will decide the game. If they both commit to this Drake, that will be that. This will be where the series ends.
Absolutely. This is not the moment where you get called spam picks. You have to be careful, but your pick is quite slippery, so he can allow some boldness. Now you can see Grape is not here. He's currently pushing on the bottom side of the map. He's finally going to rejoin his team.
Oh, and here comes the Scion with a hard engage there. Oh, and Vipix jumping in with the death from below there. And Reborn Destiny will go down, down, down. And this is going hard in favor of Cervus Esports. That is an ace, and that will be the series for Cervus Esports. The support on the side of Timely Grace quitting already, and there is the surrender. And what a series. That might be one of my favorite series that I have ever casted.
GG to Cervus Esports. That series started so bad in their favor, and yet they managed to keep their head calm and turn it around. Insane performance here by that team to manage to come as the underdog and win that series 2-1 after letting their opponent open the score is one hell of a performance, even in the amateur play. Hands down, GG to you, Cervus. You deserved it.
I mean, yeah, that was absolutely beautiful, and I mean, I really like the outcome of this series purely because I mean, Timely Grace are pretty much guaranteed a playoff spot now. You know, unless
Okay, so we will be looking at that in just a second, but I have
might have
looked
to
up
look
and searched that up. In the meantime, I'll be open the poll for the MVP. You guys can have a vote at that while you listen to this. So I have looked up. Timely Grace has played the last game right now. This was the last game for group stage for them. So the only thing that will be happening is Cervus Esports facing off against AFK Hotel Esports, and that means now that they are tied for second place, they have, of course, in direct comparison to Timely Grace now an advantage. And if we look at the standings real quick, boys, I'll show you the standings real quick. That means they have a chance of getting top 1 in Group B because the Dutch community team has already finished all of their games.
Oh my god, Cervus Esports has just opened such a huge opportunity for them. In that Group B, the seeding would be so welcome in the playoffs run.
Yeah, imagine going from not making playoffs to first spot in your group.
That would be...
Well, I mean, they had
one
the
hell.
games to do it. It's, you know, the table can be misleading. But what happens if AFK beats Cervus then, Jason? Do we go to like a...
Oh no.
Uh...
Then we go into direct comparison. There's going to be a 5-man tie, and that is just very unlikely. But I think there's more games to be played.
Is this like those conversations that you and Frin have at 3
Yes,
in the morning?
exactly. Those are exactly those where we just sit
and then
there.
we go, why are
No,
our
but
dads fighting?
I believe. Wait, no, that's all the. Yeah, those are all the games to be played. There's only one more game to be played on that group. Damn.
So how many connectors do I have now that I've taken your 14,000, Jason?
Well, and everybody else's.
376. Okay, let's go. Only Alex to do now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he has not been back and bet once with his connectors, I might add.
Let's have a look
he's
at
just playing a safe game for now.
A smoke style of play.
Let's have a look at the damage here real quick while you guys are voting. Still, so you can see there Flatline putting on his best impression of I will carry, but of course Ash and Silas had a completely different idea, and I made this joke already in Twitch there, but I will do it again. This Grape had some surgery done because he put that carry on his shoulder, and then Ash stepped up as well. Like, what a hell of a series for Timely Grace to lose, actually, and for Cervus Esports to pick up the slack, and from game 1 to game 2 just get better with each game. Wow. I'm sweating, and it's not because of the heat, it's actually because of this game. That was intense. I have not seen this in a very long time. And I think Sherlock and Jedlam, this calls for, well, perfect hype for playoffs TG Diamond, right? Next week?
Yeah, I mean, this is... the more I'm seeing of TJD this season, the more I'm really excited by it. I mean, we had... who was it in TJP yesterday? And that was just such a flat game. It was like, it was one-dimensional. And then coming in from that to this, I think TJD is where we're at, and fingers crossed TJP's playoffs will just kick that up a notch as well. What am I talking about yesterday? Oh, it's Burger Menu versus Reload.
Yeah, that was insane.
And
Okay,
Yeah,
let's.
that was a stompy stomp, and this was a proper locking of the horns.
Damn. Okay, so the MVP of this game will be the mid lane for the red team. Grape here, putting it up. Interview Grape, please. And I think we can do that today. Normally we do interviews for
So
our
was
players only, but let's do an exception today if he's still around.
Is that back-to-back MVPs for Grape?
Yeah.
Albeit last game tied with Snades.
I'm pretty sure he was tied.
Yeah, I just think so as well.
I'm just hitting up Grape, letting him know that we would like to speak to our fellow mid laner here of Cervus Esports and see what he has to say about this game. So if that will be the case, I hope you guys are prepared.
Tell him that you're calling him in for a random drug screening.
Okay, yeah.
That first game.
Let me just get him in here. So welcome. You are here because you are under investigation of cheating or carrying your team too hard.
I mean, did you see our jungler last game? Like, oh,
Yes, that game before, Talia, holy, Aladdin had put on some new shoes because he was swifty.
indeed.
Well, congratulations, man. That was a hell of a series, and I think Sherlock and Jedlam have better words to put this phenomenous and ingenious series and comeback from you guys. So let's give them the speech, and they shall question you.
All right, so first game, like that Orianna, I mean, allowing Flatline onto, the Flatline champion really didn't kind of end well for you. How did you pull back in that second game? I mean, obviously you banned out the Orianna, but how did you pull back mentally from that one and go, right, come on, I'm going to absolutely stand on you for the remainder of this series?
I mean, I can't say my mental really took a hit from game one. Like, Brand into Orianna as it is, like, Brand gets outranged. He
Yeah.
really relies on landing stun, otherwise he just doesn't do anything. So I knew if I just don't pick Brand into Ori, it's going to be fine. And then they left Silas open 2 games in a row with a, very varied and good ult set on their team. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see that happening. So basically, right, before this game, you were on 8 points, right, which put you in, I believe, fourth place or fifth place? Yeah, fourth place, or joint fifth. And now if you win your game in hand, you will finish top of Group B. How does that feel?
it was pretty good. Like, let's be real, during the start of the season, when we ended up falling a bit behind, it's where we wouldn't be able to reclaim top spot again. But I'm very confident about tomorrow. I think we're gonna be sweeping that at 2-0.
And we got one from the comments, Sherlock.
Oh yeah, do we?
Yeah, Twitch chat has a question for you, Mr. Grape here.
Yeah,
So
why-
go ahead, Sherlock.
So someone is asking you, why didn't we see the Sejuani mid?
Oh, it was simply just due to the fact that their team comps were too bulky and we didn't have enough melee champions. There's really no point in picking an assassin into tanks, especially not one that can be body blocked by Braum Shield. So
Okay.
it's a much safer option to just go Silas and coast on what's it called, Comfort.
I mean, you kind of back that call, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, I feel like you totally deserve the applause you get today.
yeah.
Now, another question that I would like to have is that we've seen your team come in game one not being really proactive, not trying to set up a lot of plays in the first game, and then game two started to escalate a bit, and game three went all out blazing. So I want to know how exactly why exactly did this happen? Did you come into today's best of with a certain mindset and then realize that it was flawed and try to like switch mid series? What happened?
Well, we have a tendency to the first game in a series make up a game plan, and then we completely forget about that game plan and just kind of autopilot.
I mean,
which
I kind of saw that in the third game a little.
Yeah, so that's why first game ended up being like it is, and then we just said pick engage, run them down, win the game, and it ended up working.
Okay.
So that third game, there was a point in that third game where you'd lost back-to-back team fights. You know, you just started to, the tide started shifting again in favor of Timely Grace, and you know you were losing those team fights and objectives. What were you guys saying to each other then to just manage to kind of flip that back in your favor, because it did look quite worrying for a time?
Well, we all realized that the only thing we have to do in a team fight is kill like either Aphelios or Azir. And so like when we got that fight around Dragon Pit, when Aphelios was entirely exposed and got insta-killed, we just knew that if we can dump everything into Azir and not lose Ashe, then we'll be fine. We can just clean it up after that.
And so, because of that possibility being open to you, you and your team didn't never felt pressure, or never felt like you were actually going to be losing on that game. How did it what was your actual mindset in that third game?
Now, after the early game, I didn't feel like we were in a position to lose unless we played extremely poorly, since our comp scales pretty evenly with theirs. And in the end, all it takes is a really solid flank from me with let's say a 0 ult or something to entirely win the game. But turns out Zion, Volibear just did their thing, hard carried the last team fight.
Okay,
unless Sherlock can go. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So I want to know a bit about your jungler specifically, who had been losing the smite fights for the first half of that series, and then finally managed to get, I believe, 2 in a row,
and a very important one as well.
A final one.
Oh
on that
yeah,
Baron
the steal of the Baron was pog.
So, what was? Did he have a reaction, a specific reaction, or was he relieved?
I mean, definitely, he was not, if we put it in kind words, happy about being outsmited. A couple of times. It was kind of a mental boom moment. And then when Baron got taken, mental for the whole team, but especially him, really went to sky-high levels.
I can imagine him screaming at the top of his lungs, "I got Baron!"
Something along like those lines.
Okay.
Great. Well, thank you for joining in. We had a pleasure having you in the interview here in our streaming lounge, and also on the big screen here. You gave us a show to remember, because that was a heck of a series for a group stage. I hope to see more of that in the playoffs to come soon.
Indeed. Thank you for having me.
Very welcome. Well, with that, I'll let you have the rest of the evening to yourself and enjoy the night after that glorious win 2-0 over Timely Grace here. So thank you for joining again, and see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So boys, with that being said, that brings us to, well, our second most favorite activity now, because my favorite activity from now on is watching Grape perform. Okay, I'm always going to be preferring this song over anything else. For those who know what's going on, get your crabs out, because it's ready for the end screen. And with that, I will also thank you, my fellow gentlemen, Mr. Jetlam and Mr. Sherlock. Thank you for
Let's go.
casting and being the G's you are, because today was definitely a fun game to cast, and you did a glorious job at getting this one out there for our Twitch viewers. So thank you as well, you guys out there in our Twitch chat, for being so communicative today. I had a lot of fun chatting with you guys, and betting, asking, voting, whatever it was, flaming Snates, because Snates misses Baron Smites. But yeah, besides that, also a lot of fun. Hope to see these guys all again. I think that shall be it. Get your crabs ready, and see you guys next time.